Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 15th episode of Perils Possibilities, a Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition chronicle set in the fictional realm of Elysium. With me today is...
Hi, I'm Dean. I am playing Drainog of Clan Briarheart. He is a forest gnome and a druid of the Circle of the Moon.
Hello, I'm Harry. I'm playing Gwyn Tegid Valentine IV, and yes, I do have to keep checking that every time I look. I'm a noble barbarian Path of the Fractured.
Nice. Hello, I'm Callum, and I'm playing Valkyria Doryu, our Asimar warlock with the Pact of the Archfey.
Hi, I'm James. I am playing Cassian Vestris III. I am playing... what am I? I'm a rogue. Soul Knife Rogue Human.
Hello, my name is Josh. I'm playing Digala, the Elven Way of the Open Hand Monk.
Fantastic. For now, he is.
For now, yeah, absolutely.
So, unfortunately, we haven't got Ryan with us today, but we are hopefully now going to be devoid of tech issues, which were largely my fault. It's obviously getting used to the setup at home, so apologies to everyone that was with us last week and had to suffer through my terrible audio. Thanks for everybody on, especially Josh, for trying to solve that wildfire as it was happening, but hopefully we're going to be devoid of those issues now. Again, as always, if there are any tech issues, please let us know as soon as you can, because it just helps us try and remedy it without you have to sit and suffer in silence. So, with that opener out of the way, Josh, any notes from yourself?
At the moment, no, it's just sort of echoing what you said. Apologies for last week. There's been, obviously the transition has been a bit chaotic and a bit hectic to going virtual, but we are doing everything we can to make it as smooth as possible and to hopefully be a little bit more consistent going out as well. So fingers crossed, we're going to get that consistency out going now and have episodes for you every week in good quality as well, so you can hear us all and see a battle map and see the map and all sorts of stuff. So hopefully it'll be good. Also, sending all our best to Ryan. He's had a quick family emergency he's had to dash off with, so we hope he's okay. That is everything from me. Callum.
Yes, just the usual, guys. The Rogues Retreat. I'm not talking about Cassian's little brothel getaways. The actual website, theroguesretreat.co.uk. They are a fantastic little company. They do all sorts of like D&D and just tabletop accessories in general. Dice, cards, dice trays, dice jails, as we were using one for, which I still have somewhere, which will definitely be being used very shortly, I may imagine. But yes, if you go and check them out, if you want to make any purchases, just use the code Perils at checkout. And you get 10% discount as well. It's lovely stuff.
Amazing. Dean?
Yeah, we're also pretty active on Discord. If you search perils.uk, that'll redirect you to our Discord page. We have quite a few people on there, and we don't just chat about the show, we chat about general tabletop role-playing games, but also we post a lot of artwork. People have done paintings and their own kind of artwork. We're always interested in seeing what kind of hobbies people get up to. And we post a lot of pictures like cats and dogs and cute things.
Yes.
There's also updates on the stream on there as well.
Stuff
So
like that, I guess.
if something goes terribly wrong, you'll know first on Discord.
Yeah.
So my loud chair, just if that interrupts at any point. So
There we go.
Right.
You know.
So it's the fun experience of live streaming from home. But on the subject of that, we do appreciate everyone's patience with the transition period. It was unexpected. It's not something that we could have planned for. Hopefully, in the future, we'll be in a position where we can get a live space and be back to filming it together. Ironically, it'll probably or Sod's Law dictates that it will happen just as Josh has made perfect his setup. That's when we'll go back to doing it in person. But thank you very much for bearing with us. As always, if you do like what we do, we've got a selection of our stuff on YouTube, including the lore videos done by the awesome Leo. If you do like all that stuff and you do want to support us, please just like, share, and subscribe. And hopefully, over time, we'll continue to stabilize a bit more. We'll continue to find our feet in this wonderful new venture that we are still pretty much starting, because we haven't really been doing this for long, and it will only improve. So thank you very much for that. So last week, who was it that did the monologue?
That was me.
It was Val. So I believe this time it is Cassian's turn
Tis indeed.
to do our monologue, which is our version of our recap. So, from Cassian's perspective, what happened last week, Cassian?
Dearest Alina, I heard you were in the city, and whilst it was tempting to come see you, I couldn't promise I wouldn't slit Father's throat. I continue to travel with these people. We're making enough money, it's keeping my interests paid for. Though they have the strangest requests. One of them wanted a candle, and a torch wasn't good enough. Anyway, we had to get out of the city, which at the moment is difficult. I'm sure you experienced it on the way in. Especially now we have an elf with us. They got out. Maybe they're harmed, I don't really care. But they're out. And we got out. And not much else. They were going after someone's daughter, maybe. Hopefully there's money in it, and I can carry on whoring and drinking.
Amazing.
Fantastic. So, as was touched on there,
Some real character growth in that monologue there.
yeah. I mean, I feel like he's slowly, steadily becoming less racist.
I don't think so.
I don't
think
know.
so.
I mean, there's been steps for Draenog. It's just your characters, Josh. It's your character.
It's hard
As far
not
as-
to be racist.
He's
against
not
your characters.
anti-elf. He's just anti-Josh.
Anti-Josh, yeah.
You're bringing a human next time, and he'll be like, ugh.
It's not dirty.
Oh no, just wait till you see the species that I've got coming for my next character. You'll hate that.
Same.
So, last time the group having cashed in on their requests with trawlers, had left the Velvet Drapery and recovered the wagon and the 2 horses, which were requisitioned by Philip, and kept aside the cartographer's store, the poor lady having to get up and down to move her cart multiple times. And with these pack horses and the wagon in tow, the group made its eager dash for freedom from the city. Just prior to this, Philip having had a small venture in which he actually recovered a black wick candle from in an old storage room that the group previously used to hide. Although intervention from Val, Draenog, and Cassian, I believe. Observation from Cassian, intervention from the other 2. One of the black wick candles that Philip was on the verge of lighting seemed to be destroyed or dissipated or something resembling that. The group did make its retreat. Where did that candle go, the one that he still had on it? Did he give it up, or has Philip still got it?
I think he's still got it. He wouldn't hand it over. I tried a couple of
Yeah.
times. Well, Draenor tried a few times to get the candle back, but didn't quite go that way.
Okay.
From a purely chaos standpoint, I really hope Philip still has the candle.
I think he does. I'm pretty certain.
So with this in tow and with everybody gathered back together, the escape attempt was made. This involving the primary hurdle of the fact that you did have an elf in your group. Now, whilst they are not unable to leave or come and go, there is obviously the concern that there might be elven spies, given that there's a war going on to the west. And for this reason, they are under increased scrutiny, both coming in and going from the city. Now, the ventures that were chosen in order to leave was simply trying to hide Degala, or trying to flee, or the one that Cassian was very set on, but Degala was understandably less, was branding him and making him a slave in appearance or practicality, depending on which character you asked. They opted to go the safer route, used the Dust of Invisibility on Degala, transformed Draenog into a horse, and went under the pretense of a horse gone wild, fleeing the gates. This worked surprisingly well, with only one arrow from a particularly savvy archer finding its mark, not on Draenog, but on the invisible elf that was acting as a tarp over the top of him.
Yep.
And through sheer fortune, ineptitude, and a really piss poor roll on the DM's part, When the cart and wagon was checked, with everyone else going through, the magical items that were currently being worn by Philip, who was hiding under a mass of cloths and fabrics, sleeping, although he just wasn't noticed, you managed to get through the gates of Ostia out into the outside world without drawing any sort of unwanted attention, heading off towards the west in pursuit of your two companions, which are currently nowhere to be seen. They would have taken flight and continued to take flight because longbows have a long range. So that is where we left off due to the technical issues that we had last time. There's no need for any sort of rolls because not enough time passed. I've still got your previous ones still. In which case, we will jump straight into things, but we will begin, in order to try and get the group back as soon as we can, we'll jump straight back to Draenog and Degala, who's been riding at full gallop away from the western walls of Ostia. A arrow which had struck Degala while he was invisible, but from a timely last moment deflection, had managed to knock it away so that it had actually scraped quite deep but hadn't actually embedded itself. You are riding off towards the west. Now, there used to be woodland around Ostia, but when the humans originally settled, a lot of that was cut back to provide open field of view, so you can see people approaching the city walls without the masquerade of woodland and wildlife and any sort of tree line to hide their advance and their movements. And it also provides less siege materials for a invading force to cut down and use. So for these reasons, there is largely open plain, large open grassland, very well tended and kept fertile, kept well cut back for the occasions where it was previously used as farming land before imports and exports became so well that people didn't need to necessarily rely on that quite so heavily. There are neighbouring villages which provide that wear and provide them with livestock and keep them in line by providing them with a purpose. And it also gives some measure of power to the houses which rule them because they are the imports for the city. For that reason, this is large open landscape around the city. So that gallop with Draenog and Degala was unimpeded, save for very short, shin-high stone walls, which had previously been erected and been worn down over time. You have made your way towards the edge of the horizon from what you could see, until the point where you can no longer hear the whistling of an arrow coming past. Not that you've had more than one, but there's that expectation. And then finally, what happens?
I mean, Dean is in control, or Draenog is very much in control of where we're going. Degala is just holding on for dear life. What colour is the horse that you are right at the moment, Draenog?
I imagine it would have been kind of a dark chestnut brown, similar to kind of his beard and his hair.
There's a couple of little droplets of crimson onto the sort of matted fur of your back, and Degala is still just very much clinging on for dear life, sort of not really able to speak a lot, just through the sheer wind force in his mouth at the moment.
Okay. So the cluster of trees and stuff that are around are nowhere near to the sizable degree of a wood or a forest, but it's enough for you to give some sort of line of sight or a target destination to kind of run to without just endless running.
We're
and by the
linked
time
up
you
with
actually
Cassian at the moment.
Say again, sorry.
You have a psychic.
linked with
Yeah.
Cassian.
Yes,
Amazing.
you are still at the moment, and it is about that point that I'd imagine, unless your intention is to continue running or to make towards a destination, that you'd have a chance to actually slow without fearing any sort of pursuit. You certainly can't hear or see any for those that would look back and have a look. No one's intending to leave the gate. And you've gone past the end of the line of horses, wagons, carts, people on foot with sacks across their backs, making the way into the city, and the much shorter line of people coming out. And quite a few people that have come out are venturing south, past the Valley of Near or towards the Valley of Near, rather than going towards Beldron. So it is largely open private land that you are currently on at the moment, save for the birds whistling overhead.
Okay, I'll probably pull on Draenog's mane in that case to try and encourage him to slow down, sort of forgetting that he can talk in horse form. Like, little man, stop, please, stop, hold it, little one.
And Draenog like, and then it's kind of muttered, just like, okay. This is the right way, isn't it?
I do not know. Looking around, is there anyone sort of looking in our general direction, just like normal planters or anything like that?
Roll perception, just to try and get some.
Ooh, a roll.
Yes. So for those at home, the rolls are being made in person.
That's a 5 for 11.
I mean, it's, to be honest, even from this distance, it's largely what you notice when you were running past. The people that were on the tail end of the wagon going into and out of the city, especially given that there's long waits involved with the checks going on, things going on around them do draw their attention. And when they're not in the midst of conversations or arguments with other people waiting to come or go from the city, the idea of a horse stampeding out of the city gates, the yells coming from the city wall itself, and a whistle of an arrow certainly drew enough attention. So there were people watching, but as you got further and further away from the car, and they could make out less and less details of the horse, and it didn't turn out to be like a basilisk or something that was fleeing from the city, their attention obviously diverted back to what they were currently doing.
All right, cool.
Many of them can just hear the vibrant, exuberant sounds of the celebrations going on within Ostia, and that is where most of their attention is going towards, because they're eager to get involved. They're eager to get in and ply their trade. So a horse is a momentary distraction. There's not anybody that you notice at the moment that seems to be giving you too much of an eye. At this point, you're still a distance away from the end of that wagon trail.
Okay, then. In that case, he's not too self-conscious about talking to a horse openly, chatting to a horse.
Yeah, there's no one in your immediate vicinity.
Yeah, he's just going to slide off the side of Draenog, just be like, "That was incredible. You were rapid there."
Are you visible now?
No.
You would be now.
Okay.
Because we rolled it before. You would have had. Well, you'll be coming towards the tail end of it because you had. I rolled 7 minutes.
Okay, cool. Right. So yeah, you feel the tapping, and then there's just a of an elf in front of you. You did incredibly well, little one.
Thank you. But in all that chaos as we left, is this is this the valley, or are we heading towards Neredeif? I'm not quite which way we're meant to be going.
This is a very good point. We didn't actually discuss the direction, did we? We just kind of hauled ass and hoped for the best.
I believe at the end of the last session, Cassian had a conversation with one of you and told you to slow down until we catch up, and then we'll start going the right way. So wherever you ended up.
Well, I mean, this is a bit of a fork in the roads, I suppose. I think we're on the northern pass, but there's some trees here. Perhaps we, turn back into normal, chill in the trees, and see if they come along. And if they never show up, then me and you have journeys together instead.
I mean, that would be nice. I mean, the
Double D crew.
Okay. Yes, it's just the one path will lead close to the woodland that I'm from, and the other one will go to the Dark Crossing and the Widow's Crossing. Not those paths aren't named because they're friendly. So
you'd like to go via your old home? Would that be nice for you?
Well, I know it'd be safe.
With a note to that, Draenog, the forest that you're from, that is towards the west of those mountains. We will cut to the map when everyone's together. It's just making sure that we're referencing the right forest.
So if you want to go home, then I suppose we can stop off on the way. See your family.
Well, no.
Friends.
See the circle. Yeah, we could. Perhaps. I mean, it's still a ways away.
Have you got anything alive that you consider close to you?
Yes, I have the circle.
I wonder, a circle?
Yes.
As in a shape?
Yes, as in a group of people.
A group?
Like a coven.
A coven? You're a witch?
No, the humans call us witches, but we're not hags.
Oh, right, okay. Are you like kind of a circle of healing peoples who do good things, or are you a collection of bad folk who fuck up shit?
A bit of both.
A bit of both. Okay. Interesting. I need to learn more about your life, Draenog. You are a small old man with lots of stories, and I feel like I can learn a lot from you. How old are you, out of curiosity?
I'm in my sort of late 300s. How old are you? I'm not quite familiar because I know elves can look quite young for quite a long time.
To be honest with you, it's kind of almost on occasion it's kind of hard to keep track. You know, I've been on the run for a very, very long time. I'm about, you know, I think I'm in my third decade at the moment. You know, I've been on the run for long. Yes, still very young in the grand scheme of elvenness, you know, and got a lot of pep to go, you know. I don't know.
While this is going on,
yeah, please.
While this conversation about
we're waiting by that little bit of forest, yeah.
Yeah, are you out in the open, or are you?
We'll be at the side of the road, just walking along.
Yeah.
Imagine.
So are you by the trees, or are you walking down the road?
Trees, down by the trees, I think, just for cover if we need it.
Okay. In which case, then, everyone else, you have been going through what we discussed last session. The guards came over. The papers were handed over by Val, and they were inspected. By the time they were handed back, it was noted that they had now expired, or that they had expired. Clearly, in their intention to get you out of the city, rather than doing another hold-up, they've either neglected to just seize them and then turn you away from leaving, or they're mentioning that they're soon to expire. It was unclear. At the time, the Scholar Arcanum, one of their soldiers, had checked the inside using a stone which they were waving over things, unseen by everybody else while you were still being contended with the guards, and unseen by Philip because he was curled up underneath the drapery, the fabrics. This stone had glowed when it went over magical items. However, the guard did not notice. So the passage underneath the gates, underneath the portcullis, and going over the moat and out into the open area was unimpeded. And you managed to push your way off the trail. And since most people are now heading southwestward towards the Valley of Near, your passage west towards Beldron, there's very few people which are going that way, and most people are on foot, so you do manage to overtake them quite quickly as you start making your way. Those that are watching the horizon, there's only so many places that the horse could have ran to, although you didn't see Draenor take full flight once he passed over the moat and went down the undulating hills and out of visual range. There's only so many places that he could have run to at this point, unless he just kept running in the distance. And given that was the stated, the plan was to stop, your eye is drawn towards the various different small clusters of trees and brushes or small walls that they could potentially have hidden behind. And as you are heading west, it doesn't take you too long before you can see a horse and a figure kind of behind it, although at that distance you can't visually tell that it is an elf.
Well, at least it survived.
Yeah, to be fair, that was easier than I had expected. I thought they were going to put up a little bit more of an argument with everything we had.
Well, sometimes the guards are a little bit clueless. So, thankfully, we had one of those.
Yeah. Well, I can see a massive shape in the distance. I feel like that's probably Dagala and his new gauntlets, so I think we're getting close to them. Oh, yeah, I think that is him. I think he's holding up a middle finger. It's very swollen. It looks awful.
Hello? Are you the people we're friends with?
It's a really good question. Are we friends with him yet?
I was about to say, I feel like that's
we could just carry on. Though I would miss Draenor and his drugs.
Yeah.
Well, let's get him and then we'll continue on our way. I don't fully know the way to Neredeus. I don't know if anybody else does. Maybe Draenor knows. Seems to be from more around these parts, I guess.
Who had the map?
That would be, I think Philip had it in the back.
He's probably sleeping on it, knowing him. Okay, well, I'll go try and rouse him and hope he doesn't punch my head off, so back in a second.
Yeah, I'll just leave him asleep and just grab the map. I'm sure it'll be fine. I don't think he'll wake up.
Okay, I'll go grab it.
Okay, so whilst the wagon has started to slow and you've jumped off the front and you started making your way around to the back, you step up onto the extended wooden step up into the wagon, and you can see Philip is toward. He's not lying. He's not asleep. He's towards the back of the wagon, angled towards one of the corners, hunched over something. His satchel is behind him, slung over his back if you did want to, or his backpack is within close proximity to the back of him if you did need to go in and retrieve the map.
Yeah, I'll just go satchel. I'll just try and, but I'll just go and rummage around, try not to disturb as best possible.
Okay. You reach inside. The map's pretty easy to find. It's one of the few large-scale kind of rolled parchments that you can find. So you do manage to wrestle that out, and you can take that back to the group.
I don't think Gwyn's trying to pay attention to Philip right now, just to let him rest. Clearly had been going through a lot. Something about a candle that Gwyn didn't pay attention to. And then I'll just go back.
Okay. You step back out. The wagon lifts as you step down off of it, and then you move back around towards the rest of the group. The Gala and Drainog, have you started to return back towards the wagon at this point, or are you still at a distance?
I'll probably move towards them. Are you still as a horse, Drainog?
Yeah, I'll still be as a horse for a while. It's only been, a few minutes, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been about 7 minutes.
I sort of wander along, my hand resting on the arse of Drainog, just sort of like, oh, welcome, you all made it out okay. You made it out alive. This is wonderful news. Did anybody die? Did anybody get stabbed? Did anybody get thrown into the tower to be hanged? What happened?
I don't think we would be here if that was the case, so no.
Well, I mean, you could have left Cassian behind, if need be.
Do you make a habit of feeling up horses?
Oh, it's just a good place to rest. Like arm on, is a good, like the hind of a horse is a good height. You could just,
Yes, but did Drainog consent to this? Consent's very important.
Drainog, are you chill with this?
Cassie, you're caring about consent. Sorry, just to interrupt. What?
Consent is the most important thing.
Well, I know you normally buy your way in, but my lord, didn't expect this kind of growth from you.
Look,
What do you mean
what happens
growth?
while
Consent is
stays
very
well?
important.
So much going on. Look,
Sorry, Drainog, you carry on. I was just blindsided by his competence then.
I am very impressed with your progressiveness, Cassian. Drainog is totally chill. I was on his back. I rode him, for crying out loud. I think we've passed the point of resting my elbow on his ass.
Yes, but that was discussed. Touching his anus was not.
I'm not touching his anus. This is a flabby bit of intense muscle. Have you ever touched a horse's arse? It is.
No, I don't make a habit of it.
It is a hard piece of muscle. You can slap it and they send them flying.
Well, did Drainog give you permission to touch his hard piece of muscle?
There are people nearby. He kind of mutters under his breath a little bit. It adds to the, illusion.
Exactly.
Indy, everyone.
It makes him look more like a real horse. By the way, our plan, amazing. It worked perfectly. I only got shot a little bit.
I was about to say there's an arrow sticking out of your shoulder, so I don't think it went 100%.
He's got a gouge next to the top of his fabrics, but the arrow didn't embed.
Potato.
That was a narrative thing on my part, so
hurting.
you deflect.
It doesn't really hurt that much. It is but a scratch, as my old friend Mr. Johann Cleese used to say.
What was that?
Johann Cleese used to say, "'Tis but a scratch."
Yeah.
I'm going to make a note of that name in case Titus brings it back to haunt me.
I'll have a quick look around.
We're all going to pick that back to haunt you.
Drainog will lift his big horse head and have a quick look around and and then mutter again, "Where's Philip?"
He's in the back. He's sleeping off his past couple of days, I think.
Does he still have the candle?
I think so, yes. He did not give it up.
I didn't see it in the bag, but it doesn't mean it's not there.
Was he sleeping when you went in?
Honestly, I didn't even look. I just went into his bag and took his things, so...
Fair enough.
You didn't ask permission.
Alright, Cassian.
There is no
No,
consent game.
taking people's possessions is fair game.
Right.
So, we need to get to a place where I can kind of change back at some point.
Why don't you do it in woods? We were literally stood next to trees waiting for these people. Step behind. You didn't. The guys told me before. Val told me that apparently you shit out an owl before.
Not quite, but
It is
I was
harrowing to see.
intrigued.
I can imagine it harrowing, Gwyn. Like, how much of this incident did you actually witness? Did you witness the perking of the cheeks and the of it?
I'd like to stop talking about the subject. I feel like too many memories.
Very well. I do not wish to
Okay.
unload extra trauma for you. So, where
Does-
the fuck we going?
Does anyone know the quickest way to Neredeus from here?
Okay. So on that subject, if it's not already visible, because I don't currently have it open, we have the map. If we can move that onto the battle cam.
There we
If it's not
go.
already fantastic. So, for those that are
Listening.
currently on the map, which we should, Ostia is here, going out the western gate. So now you have two avenues open to you. You have the southwest road, which takes you down past the Valley of Near, and you have the northwestern road, which takes you towards Beldren. Both of those would take you depending on which way you take, will take you past the mountains. And Neredeus is just here,
Okay.
which is the port city just south of the Three Sisters.
So it looks like going through Beldren is probably going to be quickest.
So we could go around, sort of along this
Yeah.
way and straight up,
Yeah.
or kind of head southwards, cut in, go across the Widow's Crossing, Fengrave, Rose Lake. A lot of that.
Nah.
That seems a long way to go.
Yeah, I think Beldren.
Yeah, so-
Valney's the quickest route.
But
Um,
which
wait-
one's the most civilized as well? We don't want to be out in the wilderness too much.
I really don't care about that. We
Well,
need
to
to
the-
get there fast.
the south is the but the mountains with the drakes and the Dust Crossing, the Widow's Crossing, and more of the northern routes. We can go past that's what was it, Beldren?
Beldren.
Yeah, and Neredeus is further up to the coast.
Gwyn's going to have a look to see if there's any people coming from that direction, from Beldren.
From Beldren, there's none currently heading towards you. It's a large open area, so you don't really need any sort of check to do this. There's no one coming that direction. There are a few people on foot which are taking the same road northwest in the direction of it, but it's unknown whether or not they'll be stopping at different kind of homesteads or similar along the way. It's not necessary that they're going towards Beldren. They might just be using the road, one because it's the quickest mode of travel rather than taking foot across the county, and it also means that should they need any sort of help or come under attack, they're easier to spot than if they're out in amongst the trees or across woodland. Or it also means that they're not likely to be trespassing across homesteads that people use to farm and cultivate, and or be, if they go into woods, be mistaken for poachers, which if they are considered to be poachers and they're not from noble lineages, is something they can be hanged for. So it's easier to travel by road. So there are a few people which are walking. You've overtaken most of them. Most of them are behind you now because the horses are just quicker. And with such a journey ahead of them on foot, they're not in the mindset now necessarily to walk at pace, especially since they no longer have heavy loads that they would have taken into the city. Now that they've offloaded, it's more of a leisurely pace to walk back, especially since the sun is now out and it's still warmer than it has been the last few days. So it's more walking weather rather than huddled, quick pace walking. So no one's currently ahead of you. People are behind, but they're a little bit of a distance behind, so they're not going to necessarily hear Drainog speaking in horse form or similar.
You said it was about 2 days to Neredeus, right? And the other group were like a day or so ahead.
Yes. So that was the estimations that were given to you. Whether or not that is fully accurate, it depends. It also depends on the modes of travel and the speed with which you choose to travel. The fact that you are currently moving on horse and stuff were The benefits of that are that if you did decide to move at speed, there's not necessarily going to be checks to exhaustion and similar, because it's not on you, it's on the horses. You can run the horses ragged if all you're doing is fast pace for a long period of time. I will be making checks for the horse, and eventually they're just going to collapse because they're not going to be able to keep it up, especially dragging across a wagon behind you. The other benefit of having a wagon is that if you do manage to find things and you do take them with you, you're not necessarily going to be laden down, which is also going to affect your travel. The speed with which you go also affects your perception checks and your passive scores. So if there are any sort of threats, the quicker you're moving, the harder it is for you to notice. And if you are going at speed, you also cannot make any stealth checks. So any threats which are lingering, you've got no chance to hide from. So those are the current travel rules as they are currently understood. If there are any other rules, they are dotted amongst the books, and I'm not going across them. But that is where we currently go.
Also, very quickly, just a shout out to Chloe for creating this map based on
Yes.
Titus's design. It looks fantastic, even in virtual form. Looks amazing.
It does. Yeah, it looks great.
Great in person as well.
Oh, you what? That's
I need to grab that from you at some point if I can, because I need to start measuring out distances.
In that case, Val will just sort of just say to the group, and be like, well, it seems like the fastest way to go is through Beldron. And from what Kyra told us, the group that have taken my daughter are at least a day's ride ahead. So ideally, I'd like to take the fastest route, if that's all right with you.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Cool.
I don't see
Lead on.
anything wrong with that. We have to be careful of the horses, of course.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to stop. We can't go for the full day anyway. We'll probably need to stop over in Beldron
Of course.
for the night.
It will take you 2 days to get to Beldron,
Son
not to
of
Neredaeus.
We'll have to camp somewhere along the road to Beldron.
Yay.
When I've got the actual map and stuff, it'll be easier for me to hex grid and give you exact things, but based upon obviously with the logistics of the move and stuff like that, it's but from Ostia, if you travel by road and you don't come off of it, and you take the road as it is, it will take you at a decent pace 2 days to get to Beldron, and then from there it will take you another 2 days to get from Beldron to Neredaeus.
Okay. Jesus. Yeah, cool. In that case, I mean, I'm assuming we've been sort of going while we're chatting and deciding anyways, but so yeah, if we settle on going the Beldron route, and then Val will just say, obviously I don't want to run the horses or anyone else ragged, so I know we are going to have to stop, but if we can't move at pace up until then and then stop for the night somewhere, just keep it moving, ideally. I know obviously we're doing this for me, and I really do appreciate that, but I would rather keep it fast.
No, of course. I think we all want a swift conclusion to this, so the faster we go, the better. Who's the best at making horses go?
Well,
Me?
yeah,
guess?
probably. I've been doing it up till now, but
But,
anyone else?
What was the other
so I would assumed Philip would be really good at this, just because he seems to have a natural affinity for horses, and I don't know what it is.
No, yeah, it seems there seems to be something underlying, some sort of deep love going on there. But
When I saw him last, he was very much admiring Drainog when he turned. So, but he's asleep, so let's just move.
Well, let's take it in turns. I've got the reins for now. I might as well continue for a while, and then we can switch.
of course,
I mean, he did spank me before.
yeah, I spanked you to make you go.
No, that was it not Philip?
Oh, Philip spanked you too. See,
Oh,
Cassian, when in wild shape, everything goes.
I just
no,
think we
no.
need to all have a conversation about consent, honestly.
Okay, this is
This is why people hate elves.
So, yeah, a specific reason. They're great partiers. God, they're great soldiers, but you have a wild shape around them.
Cassian's great.
You
This
are
is the
continuing
kind
to
of
move.
dark you wanted.
I'm guessing from this conversation, you are moving across the northwest road.
Yeah.
yes, yeah, we're taking
So,
the road towards
Moving,
Beldron.
moving with the wagons and the horses at this pace. Obviously, I'd assume that 3 people are still up, sat on the wagon, and the other people are walking, and obviously Drainog is still in horse form for whatever duration the new rules give him in that form, or until he chooses to drop it.
1 hour.
It is open country around here. It is green, it's resplendent, especially with the blue sky overhead and the clouds forming. It is quite picturesque, especially given that you've just come from a place that's surrounded by homes, noise, people moving around. Seeing open landscape is heartening, and where there is natural undulations, and you're moving off towards the west, at the peak of some of these undulations, you can see in the very, very far distance the mountains that stretch off. Not the World Spine Mountains, although people within the actual city that have no experience of traveling sometimes see these and assume these to be the World Spine Mountains. They're not. World Spine Mountains are way, way off towards the west. This is an offshot from them, but for people that have never left their homes, and most people haven't, most people kind of set roots somewhere and grow up, go to adulthood, start a family, and die in the same place. They never see beyond their own borders. For these people, that is the World Spine Mountains, but you can see them off in the distance, and you know, those that have travelled, that the World Spine Mountains are much larger and much further west. But they are something that you can set your gaze towards as you're walking across. Closer towards you, there are small streams, there is wildlife, there's plenty of that around. Not such a problem with having different kind of stags and deers and other kind of wildlife moving around, because these are the kind of things that you don't touch. They belong to the royal family. Killing them means you get hanged, so people don't do that unless they are about to starve, in which case people will take that risk, but they tend not to do it out in the open. So around here there's not as much fear from prey animals wandering around, because the wolves and stuff that prey on them, they're not in this current area, and with this warm and the streams, most of them are lingering close to the water sources. Hares and similar, you can see darting off across, skittering across the road and moving out into the greenery, vanishing for moments between they leap, before they leap into view. These are more skittish in this area because these are allowed to be hunted without it counting as poaching. So people do tend to feed themselves on hares and similar game. But seeing so much animals and wildlife around, it's more heartening. There's no noise and din, there's no barging, there's no arguments, there's no threats of violence. It's a different world out here, and for people that never leave the walls of Ostia, you can only imagine what they'd probably make of it as they're moving. And with this going on around you, and the sounds of nature going on, it's very difficult to keep on the forefront of your mind that the further west you go, the closer you bring yourself towards the realities of the war, towards that ongoing siege, off towards the western port city of Venzeth, which was the easternmost elven capital at the time when the Elven Empire was at its peak. That currently going on is very difficult to focus on when you're just surrounded by greenery and lushery and the soothing kind of brush of the winds against your cheek and the warmth of the sun overhead. For those that are not used to being out in the wilderness, it's hard to kind of see the negative side of things at this point. There's no oppressive warmth, there's no cold dampness of rain cast overhead. It is just vibrant countryside, obviously subject to change upon the whims of Mother Nature, but at the moment it's hard to remember that. And it is pleasant. There is ample opportunity for you to talk and speak. I'm assuming, from a mechanical standpoint, that from the 3 modes of travel, so just to refresh everybody, there are 3 different travel paces that you can have. There is slow, which obviously covers less distance and will take longer. The benefits of moving it slow is that you gain advantage on perception and survival checks, and you are able to obviously stealth. The benefit of moving at a normal pace is that you cover more distance, but you take disadvantage on stealth checks that you make, but you can still make them. There is no difference towards you noticing things. There's no penalties or disadvantage to any sort of perception checks you make. And then there's fast pace, which imposes a disadvantage on perception or survival checks you make, and also on stealth checks. So apparently you still can make stealth checks going at pace. I must be thinking of the old rules, but you will have disadvantage on it. So the main disadvantage of moving at speed is that you are less likely to notice things going on. You can still try and move quietly. It's just much less likely. Mm-hmm. And I'd probably have the DCs being slightly higher if you are going at pace, especially if you're going at pace with a wagon. So those are the travel rules. So what of those paces are we currently going to be looking at for the duration of the journey?
What do we think, guys?
Well, Val would want fast-paced, but if the group decides not to try and run everything ragged straight away, that's fine.
Yeah, this is work. The paces and times that I gave you is working on the assumption that you will be setting up camp, you will be resting, and it is also working on the assumption that you're moving at normal pace.
Yeah.
Those times are subject to change if you went at fast pace, and you'll get there even quicker if you, choose not to rest. But obviously that comes with its own drawbacks. So once we know what your current plan of action is, I can amend times. Obviously, if you go slower, it's going to take longer than 2 days to get to Baldurin. It's going to take longer than 2 days to get to Neredaeth.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Gwyn? Do you think we wear the horses out nice and quickly, or we go at a normal pace?
I believe a normal pace until we get to the first town. We'll see what things are like from there. I think it's best to ask what the path is like at the moment.
I think that's fair, actually. That's quite a smart... That's a very smart idea.
Thanks, I guess.
You're clever, man. I mean, you live out in forests, so you know life, don't you?
Sure. Yeah, I appreciate the attempt at a compliment there, but let's just go.
Very, very well, very well.
Right.
Val, I know you want to go fast, but I think Gwyn makes a good point.
Yeah, it is a good point. I think, let's just go normal pace for now. Judging on the distances, we'll see if we need to speed up later or not.
Exactly.
Very well.
Okay. It's easy enough to set the horses to task, although they are quite young. Which works to their benefit in terms of driving it. The Maple Grey and the Chestnut Brown are both strong, healthy horses. Obviously, they weren't just chosen for cheap. They were purchased to be suited to the task. So obviously, Kyra purchased what was requested, and the horses are doing a commendable job of taking the wagon. Granted that the wagon itself is not laden down with anything other than the items that you've currently bought. Obviously, they might suffer a bit more going long distance and going at speed, especially when you start lading down that wagon. But at the moment, they seem to be enjoying being out and about. They've been fed recently, so they're not drawn towards the edges of the road, towards the greenery, which is resplendent here and obviously absent in the city. And they are enjoying it. They are clearly, every now and again, they're familiar with one another, because every now and again they do kind of wing their head towards one side and kind of nuzzle or touch one another's muzzle as they're walking. The blinders that they currently do have on keep their focus largely on the road ahead, but every now and again they are drawn towards Soudens off in the distance. There is ample opportunity, if any discussions need to be had, for people to have them. And then just let me know when you guys are ready to continue, and then we'll start moving on to roles.
Degala would like to approach Cassian.
Okay.
Cassian, do you have a quick moment for a quick word?
I'm not going anywhere, am I?
Well, I mean, it's a potentially quite sensitive topic, this.
Do we need to talk about consent again?
No. I've spoken now with Reynog. I understand that I have to give forewarning before any sort of slaps, and there'll be a nay or a ner in response. And we figured out the system. It's all good now.
Okay.
I need
good.
to ask about Kyra.
Where are you having this discussion? Sorry, just before you start. Where is everyone in proximity to the wagon?
That's a good point.
I was up on the
You're up on the. There's three person
seat. Yeah.
It was Val, Cassian, and Gwyn, I think, up front, and Val's got the reins currently.
Mm-hmm.
I would have approached probably from behind then, and just sort of suggested that Cassian drop off and walk alongside for a minute for a quick chat.
Okay, so are you approaching from within the wagon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a little Cassian, hello.
I'll drop back into the cart then.
So, Kyra, how well do you know this lady?
Worked with her a few times.
Okay. Is she somebody who can be trusted, particularly?
She won't lie to you.
Okay. That's
She
encouraging.
will not necessarily tell the truth there.
Right, okay. She doesn't paint it either way, effectively. She keeps her options open.
Yes, very much everything will be geared towards her benefit.
Okay. Because I might have done something regarding her.
What have you done?
I owe her a favor.
Oh, good luck.
What do you mean? Is it that bad?
Yeah, no, she'll just call on you at an inconvenient time. She'll come to you whenever she wants.
I mean, have you ever owed her a favor of any sort? Like, do you have any idea?
Oh no, I'm not that stupid.
Oh, this is really stupid then, to owe her favors.
I mean, you know the sort of people they are, right? Why would you want to owe a favor to them?
Well, I thought she had information that she was going to share only in exchange for a favor. She ended up making me agree to the favor and exchanging the information anyway. So I lost on both counts.
Well,
yeah,
she's played you.
100%.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
But what I will say is if you value yourself, you will do that favor.
So if I was to disappear, then it would not go well for me.
You wouldn't disappear for them.
Where- I
They'll
thought-
know where you are.
I thought they only had reach in Ostia, or they across the entire continent.
Do you need clarification?
Yes.
They united,
So-
didn't they?
so-
with,
Yeah, the crawlers are based in Ostia. You got to remember that Ostia is huge, even by fantasy city standards. It is a lot of people in Ostia. It is a big city, so they have reach within there, and obviously from the trading caravans going in and out, they can extend their reach that way. But it's not like they have encampments everywhere. But she did give incentive to Degala and Val. To ensure that you did keep to your favor. So if you did want to go missing, they probably won't go after you. They probably wouldn't look for you. They'd keep an eye out in case you came back. But that wasn't the incentive she gave you. Do you recall the incentive she gave you, Degala? I know it's
Yes.
quite a few weeks
Yes,
ago
I
now.
did. Yeah, I did. Okay.
So that's the clarification.
This is
All I'm saying, you seem to have an inclination to help your kind back in that alienage.
of course.
So I
do.
assumed you were going to go back. If you do go back, they will find you.
Right. Okay.
And you will be called on.
I imagine having somebody in the alienage is quite helpful for them, so it makes sense. I mean, I only intend to go back to the alienage to tear it down, and to bring forth a new era for my people.
Right,
can't-
good luck with that.
Good luck with that. You can seriously sit there and let people live in those sort of circumstances, cut off from the rest of society.
I did it within my own house, so yes.
Within your own house? What on earth do you mean that is?
What do you think I mean?
You segregated your household.
No, only the slaves. I mean, it wasn't me, it was father. And honestly, I'd just as much try to kill him, but
Don't get me wrong. I assumed that there was some history with slaving from what you suggested previously, with me being branded and all of that. But you actually owned slaves?
no, not anymore, no.
Oh. Well, thank the gods.
I mean, I assume my father still does.
Your father sounds like a monster.
Oh, he is, but not for that.
Not for that, so that is fine. Having
Yes.
slaves is tickety-boo, but he's evil for other reasons.
Yes, yes.
You are a very confusing man, Castian
Thank you.
Visidras. But I appreciate your candor regarding Kyra. It's I feel as though I've put myself into a bit of a awkward situation there.
Probably.
Okay.
Just be prepared to do whatever she asks if you ever return.
And what if I refuse? It ends badly?
Yes.
Okay. Very well. And as we're sitting in the car, the guy would just kind of flick his fingers together and whisper a couple of words in Elvish, and is just going to cast Druidcraft very quickly in a sort of weather sensor form. So it's just a harmless sensory effect which predicts the weather for the next 24 hours.
Okay.
Nice.
It's going to be still warm, based upon the impressions that you get. You're used to using this, I'd imagine, subtly. It's more felt in the palm. Normally, beads of sweat might form if you're expecting moisture or if you're expecting rainfall. Your palm gets warm, as though you've had something soft and circular pressed into the center of it, which suggests it's going to be quite warm nights. Whatever pleasant weather has followed you out of Ostia is looking to settle for at least what period of time does this cover? Is this the imminent future?
24 hours.
Yeah, so it's warm, it's pleasant, which is a good omen, all things considered. Moving off west, especially if you're not moving at pace, you didn't really want to get caught in a downpour or worse. So it's quite pleasing.
I just look to Cassian. We're in luck. Clear skies ahead. I'll leave you two.
Yes, for now we can see that.
No, I mean I've just determined that there's going to be a nice evening as well. When we sleep tonight, we're not going to get pissed on by Sky.
Right. Is that some weird elven trick?
That's exactly what it is. Yes, it is a little, we call it like an incantation. It's a very gentle form of magic. Would you like me to try and show you how to do it?
Absolutely not.
I mean, you can do magic. You can learn something new.
I'll stick to my daggers, thank you.
Very well. I mean, I can also go super fast with magic if need be. So if you ever need any tips, because you are a bit slow, when you're turning and stabbing, you're a bit slow on your heels. So if you need any help, just come to me and I'll sort you right out.
I'm sorry, was I slow when I nearly killed you?
You were not slow. You were very efficient, but you didn't see it through.
Only because others stopped me.
Then that is a weakness in you. If you allow yourself to be changed by others in these moments when things come down to the wire, if it was me in your position, I would have snapped your neck in that moment. In a heartbeat. And I would not have let what other people say change my mind. Never doubt yourself and what you need out of a situation. You may work with a group, but how long have you known these people? A few days?
Yes, and they've already fucked us over.
Well, there you go. You are the important one here, Cassian. If you need to kill, then kill.
I kill when necessary.
Good. The next time, don't let other people sway you. Finish the job. I'm glad I am here, do not get me wrong, but next time you might not be so lucky.
Are we done?
I am done with you, yes. And he'll hop off the cart and just have a nice little jog alongside it with his massive, absurdly huge muscles now.
I was just saying to Gwyn up front, I really do hope they're getting along back there.
I'll just get up on the seat and just go, what a cunt.
Well, take it back, never mind. I had a really funny image when you were saying your palm gets warm, it's just Cassie in there with a brand, just like,
Mine
now.
I'm watching it in my head, like when he gets stronger, he actually gets smaller and weaker. So it's just like a stick figure.
Yeah.
But in his mind, he's built like.
Oh yeah, it's very internal. He's got mental fortitude for days.
So,
as Cassian comes back up, then Val will just sort of say to him, like, it's a constructive conversation.
He wanted advice.
Fair enough. Well,
And did you give him advice?
Oh, yes.
And was it just to fuck off?
No.
Oh, okay, impressive. Just a question. Does anybody have a compass? I've just realised we have a map, but I don't know if we have a compass.
no.
Okay.
But there was a signpost, so, you know.
Well, that's fine. If we
Back
could
at the
buy a
city, if we're still going in the same direction, I don't know.
Okay. Just in case we do get lost, map's great. Love that. Need a compass though.
Well, bit late now.
Well, you do have the benefit now that there are 2 roads leading out of the western gates of Ostia, and you are following across the rightmost road. So you can kind of work out as long as you stick to that road, but Gwyn is right. As soon as you come off of that, navigating suddenly becomes a lot harder. DCs start going up if you lack a compass.
I mean, why would we not follow the roads, though? Because then we'd be out in the wilderness, and nobody wants that, surely.
Well, you know this group by now. Things aren't exactly as simple as they seem at all given times.
Yes, I suppose.
I'll look back to where Philip is.
So, at least the main culprit is asleep in the back. That is true.
He's not currently sleeping. He's not led. He is currently. So as you look through the partition directly behind you, you can just see him in profile. He's just angled towards the corner directly behind Gwyn. So I'd imagine he's Gwyn, Val, or Gwyn, Cassian, Val, since Cassian stepped out. So behind where Gwyn is, he's just angled towards that corner, hunched over something.
Oh, he's got the candle in his hand, doesn't he? Fuck. I'm not even going to check.
You're going to get up and check?
No, I'm not even going to. Not right now, anyway.
Look, he's found a new pet. Just let him have it. So,
Yeah, fair enough. Well,
he isn't lighting it. That's the main thing.
yeah, that is the main thing, I guess. For a while, everybody's here. I'll try and get Drainog and Dagala to like come a bit closer as well, so I can chat with everybody.
Okay. Easy enough to signal them down. It's open road. There's, no worries about it being overheard. At least nothing from that you can spot. And it'd be hard for something to hide. The most movement that you're seeing close to the car is from the birds overhead.
Cool. Before we left, Kyra gave me a little piece of information, which is definitely worth sharing with all of you. Apparently, the old group that I used to run with are relatively close by, and usually that is not a good sign. Now, I have a thought they may have had something to do with the Dragonfly's abduction initially, but I'm not sure. But the fact that they've turned up here now, as we are on our way to find her, is making me lean a little bit more towards that direction as well. And if they are involved, we might be in trouble. They are not a good group of people. They are ASMR like myself, 5 of them. And they are all very capable in their own right. And this is a warning for all of us, I think. If they are headed in the same direction, if we encounter them, we cannot fight them. We have to flee. You may be able to leave, you guys. They could be after me. I don't know. Just a heads up. I've asked Alia to keep an eye out for them as well. So if they do get close, hopefully she will let us know and we can prepare accordingly. But I didn't want to keep this one a secret from you because this one directly affects all of you as well.
So
Great.
let us get this straight. We have bust out of the capital city of these lands at great personal risk to ourselves. I mean, I have my own reasons for going, but the rest of you to assist you. And now that we're out of the city, now you tell us there's a murder gang who are coming for you?
Well, Kyra informed me just before we left the city, and we'd already made the arrangements. I think the fact that we were in the city probably stopped them from coming in, because they are quite a noticeable group.
Right.
But now that we are out, if they are coming after us, they might be headed straight to Nerdeth. They may be on a task elsewhere. I've left them a long time ago, so I don't know what they do anymore. But if they are here for the same reasons as we are, we may encounter them at some point.
Well, Cassian, there we go. That's the distractions that I mentioned.
Yes. Great.
Draenor will raise his head. He's still in Horse Farm, but he'll be turning back to a gnome very soon. Kind of walking alongside the wagon. So, who is this older group? Are they all ASMRs? Did they all present human? Did they have a little flourish of color like you do?
No. Obviously my situation is slightly different, but they obviously all look different to me, but they are still the same race, so they can pass as human. But if they're not in cities and stuff, I imagine some, maybe not all, maybe a little bit more flamboyant than I, with said wings and things. They are known as the Forgotten, or we were known as the Forgotten. It's a long story, but basically we were forced to work together by my family, essentially. None of us liked each other, and we had instructions that if one tried to flee, the others could kill on sight. So we were all pretty much trapped together to do the bidding of the Shari and Shariah, or what you would know as the king and queen, I suppose, of my family, essentially. So
Wait,
it was
are
not.
you a noble?
No, I just was part of that family, not like the actual relation, but it's difficult to explain. We were essentially, we're an offshoot of ASMR. Essentially, my family, my clan, however you want to refer to them, they are more radicalized than the others. They believe that we ASMR are the pinnacle race and we should be revered and respected like gods. And obviously that did not go down well with other ASMR, so we were cast out, essentially. But it was surprising to realize how many other ASMR felt the way that they did, and so joined them. And they left. They've established themselves in a, I don't know what it is like now. It wasn't quite a city when I left, but it was a sizable place that they had, and they were gathering followers and growing in number by the day. But basically they ruled through tyranny, and that's how they do things. Any threat to them, they send people out to deal with it.
People like you.
Well, we were a special case. I served for a while, but then things happened, and I wanted no part of it. But instead of giving me the freedom of exile, they put me with the Forgotten. They didn't like me. They don't care for me. I do their bidding or I die. Same as the rest of us.
Sounds terribly efficient.
It is, and efficiency was their thing.
Was that in this plane or in the Feywild?
No, that is this plane. They are far away from here. They're across the sea. I obviously came to the Fae a different way, but this group, they had no love for me. They don't have any love for each other either, but again, we were forced to stay together because if we didn't, the others could kill, and they really enjoyed killing. So we were just sent off to do tasks by the king and queen. If they didn't like somebody, if somebody was opposing them, if there was a new threat that arose, they would send us out to deal with it.
And so there's a team of angry murder supremacists following those?
Pretty much. I broke away from the group, how I met my patron, actually, which is a story for another time, but she helped and we managed to send them packing. But I imagine they are quite resentful that I managed to get away. And if they do have something to do with the Dragonfly's abduction, then I would obviously like to find out, but the thought of dealing with them is actually quite terrifying.
Of course, and you say that we are completely incapable of dealing with these people.
From the last time I was with them, they were incredibly strong as individuals, as a group. No chance. One of them, two of them, maybe all of us could deal with. The five of them, it's been 2 or 3 years since I left them. I can only imagine they've got stronger and probably worse people.
So what, you would like the runt of the litter?
Kind of, yeah. I was not the favorite, let's put it that way. They didn't like each other, but they liked me even less.
Okay, so is there any early warning sign or anything like that? So we can keep an eye out, keep an ear out for what we should be looking for.
Honestly, it depends who's in charge of the mission they are on. Sometimes, depending on who it is, if it's Mimna or Aslona, then they will not leave a trace. They will be able to sneak up right behind us, most likely, without us even being able to tell. However, if it's one of the more hot-headed of the few, like Rockram, who is nicknamed as the Giant because he is very, very large, he just basically would leave a lot of destruction and chaos wherever he went. So we had to try and keep him in check a lot of times, and it never always worked. But if he's the one that's leading whatever they're here to do, the signs should probably be quite obvious.
Okay. Right. So we're in serious danger at the moment.
Possibly. Like I say, they could be here for another reason, but it just seems quite fortuitous timing.
Has anybody else got any murder groups chasing them down who wants to come forward at this point in time? Gwyn?
Possibly the whole army, but that's fine.
Yeah, Gwyn doesn't get on with his family. And Cassian doesn't get on with his family. And
Oh yes, we've just left my family behind in Ostia. So
Are you okay with this? I mean, determining what you told me about your father.
it would have been nice to stay there and kill my dad, but you know.
They didn't have any family homes out in other places, did they?
Oh, I mean, they're not originally from Ostia.
Where are they originally from?
Well, city a little further away, but I've forgotten.
Would you like to see the map so you can remind yourself?
I'm just checking my notes though, somewhere.
It's been a long time since you've been there, it seems, then.
It's been a few years. Yes, I moved to Ostia when I was exiled.
Fun.
Yes.
We're just going to drop that one in there, and we'll come back to it another time.
I don't have any murder gangs after me. In fact, if I remember correctly, I'm not quite too sure with the human names for these towns, and there should be settlements that I don't see on that little map. But if we carry on this route past the mountains, we'll be coming to a forest that I'm familiar with.
Anything fun in there?
Oh, my circle are there. So there are druids.
It's not a shape, it's people.
Yeah, it's very obvious.
No, that's quite
You've
obvious.
never heard of a circle before? Even I've heard of a circle of people.
I've just
Like
got to check, Draenor. Are they like you? Do they do lots of drugs?
Yes, this is.
Let's
yeah,
go there!
circle.
Well,
Part
what are we
of the
waiting for?
How far
Circle
away is it?
Yeah, is it on the
Well,
way?
It kind of is on the way. I believe in more of the tongue that you'd be familiar with, it'd be Kaida Avon.
Can we have the map up, Josh?
We can do, yes. Not
Oh.
a break.
That's past Belgium, so like a day and a half by the looks of it.
Well, it's on the way. We could pop there and I don't know, or we could go there after we've saved your daughter, and perhaps they could help us get her to the Feywild.
That actually would be kind of ideal.
Well,
Can they do that?
I mean, it's not something we do often. We're more based in this plane. We more bring things in from the Feywilds, like when I shit out an owl.
I think we need to change the way we phrase this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the way you told me this story, guys.
It's how it looked.
Yeah.
I
So,
summoned a wild
Like,
companion.
swapped down behind a box. So what we were to assume was that he was shit, and literally an owl appeared from there. So
I could have summoned a cat, but they're more disruptive. So I summoned an owl.
okay, yeah, I can imagine an owl is more streamlined for this sort of thing.
It was
So-
still a rather weird sight, I'm not going to lie.
I can only imagine. You people are very strange. All of you are very weird people.
Yeah. You've not seen the half of it yet either. You've only just joined.
This is very true. So,
I'm
Cassian...
not even the weirdest
sorry,
one
Gwyn.
of me.
What was that, Gwyn? Sorry?
I'm not even the weirdest one of me.
This is very true. Like, we need to dig into you at some point. Like, I'd love to have a
Yeah.
conversation about
We need to what? Sorry.
dig into him.
Again, consent.
It's
Of
very
course.
important.
Of course, I will do no digging without prior approval.
Just a quick question, Drainog. How many people in the circle where that in that forest are older than you?
We have a multitude of different races, but Avon, he is the elf who started the grove. He's kind of one of the original elves. He's been around for a while.
Okay,
What is-
so would he be there? Would he have been there since before humans, perhaps?
Yes, I mean, the humans only came from the Shadowlands. Millennia ago. It's not that long.
Okay, I think I may need to have a talk with him at some point.
I would love to meet this individual as well. This
Well-
is,
To him, you're a baby, so I guess if he has the time.
I know, but to me, he is a fountain of knowledge.
But to us druids, you have been around for but a blink of an eye. Even a tree doesn't get so big after what did you say, 30 years?
About 3 decades, yes.
Yeah, that's only a few summers.
My word, you have one of the originals, one of the ancients with you.
Well,
you
that's
you
what he
know
told
one of
us.
the ancients. This
That's
is...
what he told us.
Oh, right. He could be lying. This is true.
He
could-
wanted
Elves
to
are
join.
prone to lying. Yes.
Yeah, he
Some
wanted
of
to
them are.
leave the infighting to return to nature. He felt that was the way that we should live. And, I quite agree. Being able to go skinny dipping with your friends while high on mushrooms and hunting for animals, it's quite nice.
How do the
You
elves
know,
sound
I agree
now,
with
Cassian?
half of that. Sounds great. I
think
just don't want to hunt.
Well, how else are you supposed to have a roast boar for dinner?
Someone brings it to you and
have to-
cooks
you
it
have to
for
put-
you.
You have to put the work in, or at least turn into a boar so you can get close to the boar.
Why don't we just concentrate on the road for a little bit?
Very well. Let's get to a destination where we can at the very least, sleep. And then from there, we can go to... the problem is the Dragonfly obviously takes priority. There's a child's life at stake. We have to deal with this. But I think as a celebration, go get fucked up in the circle. Sounds great. Meet ancient elves.
I couldn't care less about that part, but I do like getting fucked up.
I mean, I'm sure we could arrange a fertility ritual if that's what you wanted.
What?
I beg
Okay.
your pardon. Tell
It's
me
not-
more.
It's not quite the season for it, but when, animals need to rot,
Uh-huh.
humans
Yeah,
and the elves.
Cassian, this is right up your street, I think.
Yes, I'm very intrigued.
You have a whole ritual for it?
Yeah,
Well-
I normally just, put the charms on and
When people approach you and they are in need of a heir, they could either go to the hags and, arrange some sort of agreement there, or they can come to the druids and we can arrange an agreement. It's hard to get a hold of books when you live in the woods.
I generally don't bring books to the bedroom.
No, I'm so confused by the politics of this situation. It sounds more like bartering for shags.
So eloquent, Dagala.
Thank you. Thank you. I am a well-spoken, well-versed individual. How's the road looking?
So the road is still large and open. The weather is persisting, and the travel that you've been having has been simple and straightforward, going at a leisurely pace. Had ample opportunity to see the various different kind of previous fortifications that have been worn down over time, stone structures which have been damaged or crippled in some ways, leaving them hollowed out husks. These draw your eye a bit more than most other places as possible places for people to hide, especially after the discussion about the Forgotten so recently, but nothing ventures out. They are still very quiet, quite a few in them, some with ivy and similar kind of greenery just draping over the sides of them. Here and there, a stream does kind of intersect over the road, and the wagon has to kind of go down and up and out of it, leaving the treads damp and wet, but it is still very much a pleasant journey going on. With the birds whistling and everything else going on, your conversation does go on uninterrupted, and going at this pace, it doesn't look as though you're expecting any sort of intrusion on that. So just for the purpose of this, since you are going at a normal pace, let's have a disadvantage perception check from everyone.
Hell yeah. Disadvantage.
perception check. I thought it was.
Yeah, because you are going at a normal pace.
Oh, okay. Oh shit, that's not great.
Yeah, it's only slow. You don't get disadvantage.
Yeah. So to clarify again the travel rules for you, if you're going at a slow, gives advantage on perception or survival checks.
Yeah.
And your stealth checks are at normal. If you're going at a normal pace, then your stealth checks are at disadvantage. Oh yeah, no, sorry, just normal perception.
Okay.
I'll
Straight
re-roll.
roll. I thought so.
Yeah.
Even
and then
worse.
traveling at a fast pace is where it imposes the disadvantage on both.
That was even
Okay,
worse
so
than my
a normal
disadvantage.
roll.
Oh, that was nice.
That would be a 7 for Val.
Classic.
Okay.
23 for Degala.
Okay.
15 for Cassian.
Oops, sorry.
13 for Gwyn.
Okay. So at the moment, there doesn't seem to be anything in particular that's drawing your eye. And as you progress further along, it's easy for you to begin getting into a lull of not complacency, but it's easy enough to relax with all the kind of different vibrant colors going on around you. And in the natural world, it's very easy for you to just start to relax a little with the progression going on, especially given that you're in the company of strangers, but these are strangers that in some shape or form you have bled with. And that kind of helps to create at least a meager band of camaraderie, even if it's not yet forged. There is no noises coming from the back, from where Philip's not moved in the position that he's in, but it's easy enough to distract yourself with everything going on. That this doesn't necessarily draw the eye. And as the sun begins cresting further and further out towards the west, eventually you can see it crest in the far, far, far distance. Goes beyond the separating spine that is off towards the west, and then past the World Spine Mountains, although its cresting of those mountains is unseen. And as the sun begins to make its descent, twilight begins to set and the natural light overhead begins to dim, and things start to begin a little darker to see, although you are still out in the expanses. Here and there you can see farmsteads off in the distance. You can see areas where people have begun tilling the land, where there is different kind of stocks being made. There's different wheats, there's different farming going on. And here and there you do see the occasional people moving up and down these. You see dogs belonging to families that are patrolling their particular livestock, and these areas are fenced off or walled in. And now and then there are younger individuals or people that were previously working out in the field that kind of notice you going past. But with the last few days of people coming and going, particularly going towards Ostia, you get nothing really more than the cursory glances of people going, oh, there's people moving. But the road itself is far enough away from these farmsteads that you don't draw any further attention from these people beyond the cursory kind of glance and maybe the occasional nod if they do catch anyone's eye. Going further west, you start cresting up towards a smaller hill which borders the area of open greenery, which allows you at last, when you crest the top, to see off in the distance one of the larger rivers, which moves from the north towards the south. And it is towards this reservoir, although it's not a substantial river like the River Anduin, significant enough river to actually require a bridge of its own and it's by the time you actually start to see this bridge and the river going off towards the west, that night itself is starting to fall. Those that don't have particularly good vision or that can't see in the dark, at this point you wouldn't be able to see that bridge. Those with dark vision can probably see the outline of it in the distance, but it's still a distance away. But you're high enough now where you can see it, so you can see that there looks to be some sort of encampment around there. People are there, or that you can see their wagons. You can see of an encampment that are there on the eastern side of that river, so on the side closest to you. But you're probably looking at about another 5-10 minutes before you reach that encampment.
What do you think, Val? Do you think it's safe to camp up with other people?
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's getting dark now, so we can't keep the horses going for too much longer. But I say we get to the other side of the bridge, we'll find a little place off-road, and we can just shack up for the night, I guess.
Well, it looks like a lot of people, and at this point, Draenor have been back to a gnome farm, so you're going to be sat in the wagon. It looks like everyone are camping on this side of the bridge, so it might be best either we camp around here, where we've got a nice vantage point, or we go and commingle.
I think the less attention we draw to ourselves, the better.
Yeah,
I agree. We're a motley crew, let's be honest. We're an interesting bunch. I think attention brings concern.
Especially
If we show that we've got an elf traveling with us, they may kill us all. Or try to in our sleep.
This is really true. Should
Yeah.
I stay in the wagon for the time being?
Yeah. Well, should we go past and camp, or do we want to stop before and camp? Because I imagine they'll still be there in the morning anyway.
My recommendation is go past. I think we go just beyond it. But also, here's the thing: if there is a big group of individuals, and let's say something goes wrong, the big group of individuals is going to be where the focus is, as opposed to the small group just beyond, and also less likely to draw attention, I would say.
Possibly be jumped while we're trying to cross the bridge.
This is
Well,
true. These are
let's
risks.
just keep our eyes open, I guess, and keep our wits about us.
Okay. I'll get into, and so Degala will climb down into the actual wagon, sort of near where Philip is, and just close off any hatches where people can see inside necessarily. So there's no dwarf or elf visible at any point.
Yeah. Maybe one more in the back as well, either Draenog or Cassian, perhaps.
Yeah, I think Draenor might probably best with his big ears.
Yeah.
Not even for that, I just mean because Philip seems a bit out of it, so we might need a bit of protection as well if anything does happen, so...
He's got Degala. He's perfectly protected.
We've seen how squishy Degala was.
Okay, so Degala and Draenog are in the back. Val, Cassian, and Gwyn are up front.
Mhm.
Of you three, who has dark vision?
Valdez.
Well, okay. The other two, at this point, you can't see much more than about 30 feet away from the wagon.
I've got
It's starting to get darker. We're starting to get towards early evening, and without the clouds and without the moon overhead necessarily to be that scene as bright as it was in the day, it is now quite dark for night. If you're going to want to be able to see much further than the periphery of this wagon, you're going to need to start looking at torches or similar.
I've got a lantern, so Val will light the lantern and kind of put it on the side of the front of the carriage, so it kind of overhangs a little bit.
Yeah. So on the front of the wagon, there are two metal brackets where you can hang lanterns to make it easier for you to go.
Philip got a lantern to go with the wagon as well.
Oh, cool. Sweet.
That's
Okay.
on his list.
So as you light these, it gives you a bit more distance to see, and then often beyond the periphery of where you are, it does start bringing your attention less from the wider environment and just enjoying the kind of countryside and in the aftermath of the flight from Ostia, more to the immediate. The fact that although these are large open areas, the short stone walls, the brackets, the distant kind of farmsteads, the sounds of the wildlife, they suddenly take a more sinister kind of turn when your vision is kind of denied you from a race where your primary sense is your vision. And your focus does become more yo-yo between left and right and ahead, and now and again the sounds coming from the back of the wagon, you are tempted to kind of lean around the side and look back, almost expecting people to be following up on the trail behind you. But any people that were walking on foot going up the same pathway, they've either deviated off the path, gone off to one of the homesteads which were between Ostia and here, or they're so far back that you can't see them in the dark. But cresting down over the top of that hill and heading towards the west is when you can start giving your focus towards a set point, and that set point is this encampment on the eastern bank of this river. And as you're going towards it, you can see that there looks to basically be about 3 wagons which have basically been pulled to the one side of this river. There's 2 on one side, on the left, and there's 1 on the other side. It's at a distance at this time. When you were up on the hill, you did see, or believed you can see, certain movement of people, but as you're coming closer, they're either now nestled away and sleeping, or they are currently not in the view of where you are approaching from.
As we get a bit closer, Val's got dark vision of 60 feet, so when we get within range, what does the state of the wagons and like the campsite look like? Do they look in any sort of disarray? Are they just normal, sort of packed away? Everything looks kind of neat. And are there any people in view at all?
Okay, roll perception for us. You've got dark vision, so you'll be fine.
Yeah.
If the 2 up front want to make checks, they can with disadvantage.
Might as well.
Yeah, can't see why not.
Well, if not, I'd just use your passive score, but I'd apply disadvantage, so it's your choice if you want to try and roll higher. Disadvantage for a passive score just takes 5 away from your standing score.
Oh, right.
So if I give you the option to do it, if you choose not to, I'll go with your passive score, which sometimes works to your benefit, but obviously if someone's got a particularly good stealth roll, the only chance for you to match it is to risk that roll.
Yeah. That's only an 11 for Val.
That's 17 for Cassian.
Yeah, I just rolled a 7 twice, so...
Nice.
Okay.
Wait, was this for stealth? Sorry.
No. This is for perception.
Oh, okay, then 9.
I mean, you can't really stealth while you're sat up the front of the wagon with 2 lanterns on either side of you.
So 9 in total.
Okay. What's everyone else doing in the back of the wagon?
Gone.
Draenog's just kind of pilfering through his herbalism kit, his new one, and just having a look through, and he's like, oh, some of these are a bit drier than I would like, and sort of having a look through, because it's one that he's bought from in the cities rather than one he's put together himself, and so he's just, just tasting a few things, nibbling on a few things, and muttering to himself in Gnomish.
Okay.
Digala, meanwhile, will be towards probably like one of the latches at the back, sort of one of the exits at the back of the wagon, and he'll be sat down, kneeling down, sort of nice and low, eyes closed, and he'll be listening out to everything that he can hear, possibly from trying to pick up noise from outside of the wagon. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of interference, but he's going to try and pick up as much as he can from that point.
Val also, just while we're approaching the campsite, just in case, I'm going to use my new Pearl of Power that I've got. So I'm going to take a magic action to regain one of my spell slots, because I used them both on Philip, trying to knock the candle out of his fucking hand. So I'm just going to use that, and then it refreshes at dawn, so...
Nice.
That's so good.
Right, so you are making the approach, and it's... Although Gwyn and Val are looking towards this, there's nothing that they can kind of see to raise any sort of suspicions as you are moving off towards the west. It's not like they've tried to shield off the encampment from view. There are amber glows from a campfire of some sort, which is on the far side of where these wagons are, so you can kind of see the ambient light, but you can't see the sources of it. Cassian, your view is more focused on certain points in this, and what you do notice is that where there are bedrolls, the bedrolls are flush with the floor. There's no one in them. Where there you would normally expect to see people kind of moving or ambling around, there isn't any. You can't see down towards where the actual river is, or you can't necessarily see the length of the bridge, because the wagons are kind of masking it now that your own wagon is not elevated, it's on level footing. You can't kind of see the full length of the bridge, but if they are there, they're on the far side and you can't see them. But from where you are, the people that were described to you as you was coming over the hill, there's no evidence of it. Who rolled the... Oh no, I don't think I asked for a roll. Degala, when you moved into the back, were you still atop the hill?
Sorry, atop the hill.
Yeah, so the hill towards the east, where you all first saw this encampment bridge.
Degala is in the wagon as it's closed off, so he can't see outside. He's closed off from the outside. He's just listening. That's the key.
But before you went in there...
Oh, yeah.
And you've got dark vision as an elf. So
60 foot.
Yeah, you would have seen at that point probably about 10 people, more or less, ambulating around.
Okay.
I'm assuming you probably would have said that to the group. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Degala would have mentioned something at the very least.
Okay.
It would have been a sort of, there is some activity going on over there. If anything happens, I'll go down below, of course, and I will listen out. If anything happens, shout our names or knock or anything like that. Just give us a sign and we will spring into action. Okay?
Cassie, now that you're kind of closer and you're having a look, aside from the fact that the bedrolls themselves are now flush with the ground, there isn't anyone ambling around that you can see. Immediately, your gaze then goes towards the wagons, almost expecting to see some sort of damage, see, torn flaps, see cut lines, to see some sort of foot trails or similar. There's none of it. There is just a stillness. There is the crackle of logs on a fire just out of view, burning and smouldering away. There is the ambient light, so that itself gives the place a kind of ethereal sense of movement and glow. But you can't hear people. You can't hear snoring. You can hear the distant kind of rush of the river beneath the bridge.
Yeah.
But as your wagon is making its approach, you can't see anything else. At this point, you are probably about 80 feet.
Do you
The
relay
the elf has lied. There's no one there. The beds are unused. There's nothing.
that? No,
You see that, right?
that sounds suspicious. 1 second. Val will lean kind of back to the wagon, just give it a little knock, and he'll just say to the back of them, just be like, just be ready. And then Val will just indicate to Gwyn and just say, maybe we both flank the horses, leave Cassian on the top just in case something does jump out. At least we're not sat atop something. So if
You're going to have the bait, am I?
Yeah. And then Val will kind of hop down to whatever side he's on. I think he was on the left of the wagon, so he'll hop down to the left. And if Gwyn wants to go off to the right, so we're sort of walking alongside the horses as well.
Absolutely can.
And I'll have my hand on my scimitar as well, just not drawn, but just a hand on it.
Okay.
I'll have my rapier drawn.
Your rapier drawn.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're walking alongside the wagon. You still just making pace towards it?
Yeah.
Okay. The horses continue on as they're directed. There's no kind of hesitancy on their part. Their focus, where it does deviate away from the road, and it's not often with the blinkers on. They don't. The blinders, not the blinkers. Their focus still remains largely ahead. There is an absence of wildlife noises around here. Those that you can hear more come from the stream itself, and do come from off in the distance, so it's not like you're suddenly stepping into a circle that's devoid of noise, but there's none here, which you kind of expect when there's a congregation of people around. Animals tend to avoid humans, especially in bulk, in larger numbers. But there's the absence of that. There's the only sound of the fire crackling, and as your wagon and horse come up, the horse itself They don't have to kind of deviate left or right because the road itself now ahead is absent any sort of obstruction. You have the 2 wagons off towards the left, you have the 1 wagon off towards the side. Now that you're pulling up alongside it, you can see the placements where they had previously made fires and encampments. You can see the bed rolls around them. You can see parts of the wagon themselves, fabrics that have been brought over as an overhang that are only partially erected. Either they decided to stop midway through or they were stopped midway through, or maybe they realized that with the weather being so temperate that there was no need for the overcovers. Either way, there are signs that people have been here. There's packs, there is skewered hair that is currently resting across a spit across the fire. The underside of it is shows that obviously from where it's been skinned and stuff that they've caught it and killed it. The horses get to the point where they are now starting to come level with this.
As we start to come level and it's a little bit easier to see, Val being still kind of paranoid knowing what is coming after them possibly, I'm going to start looking for telltale signs of a forgotten ambush, specifically the way they usually set things up.
Okay. Anyone else doing anything?
I can't really see in the dark, so I'm just staying close to the horse.
Okay. You can see a little. You can see between the light sources outside of the wagons, which are full campfires, and the fact that the front of your wagon has 2. Was it 2 lanterns or 1 lantern?
2 lanterns.
2 lanterns lit. You've got enough ambient light where you can see the periphery of this encampment and the encampment itself and the outside. Obviously, areas where they're fully obstructed will have their own sources of shadow. But with your own lanterns and your approach, even those areas themselves are lit, and you can't really see anything. So if there is anything that you want to try and do, you're not obstructed by the fact that you can't necessarily see. Anyone else?
If something looks to be attacking us, could I prepare an action?
Sure. If something looks to be attacking you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Of my 60-foot psychic blade.
Okay. Drano? The guy?
Draenog's in the back and he's having a look through the healer's kit still. He's very impressed with like the cotton bandages. These are really quite nice compared to kind of the sterilizer rags that he would normally have.
Everyone's going to get attacked and go missing, and he's just going to, oh wow, this is amazing.
Good. Degala's going to go up towards where the seating is and just try and whisper, Cassian, is there anyone out there?
Not that I can see, no.
Okay. And Degala is going to slip out. In that case, he's going to open that back latch, come outside. He's going to pick up a pinch of dirt and just quietly whisper to himself in Elven, rub it between his hands, and flick it on his feet. And he's going to cast his 1 per long rest use of Longstrider on himself.
Okay. How long does that last for?
It lasts for an hour, and it gives him an extra 10 feet of speed.
Awesome. Whenever we're adding stuff, just make sure we're rehashing the rules, just so that I'm not lingering on old definitions of things.
Via said, and he's not hiding it necessarily. He's out with the others, preparing it and scanning around as well.
Okay, so perception check from you, perception check from Val, and
Oh, nice.
That's another 11. Another 11. Oh no, 12. 12. That might make a difference.
Are the horses still being let forwards? Are they still progressing?
Yeah, I think the idea was me and Gwyn are going to be kind of flanking each of the horses as well. And then Cassian on top. I guess Degala now outside at the back, or have you walked up as well?
He'll be at the back, watching the entire back area, and sort of effectively walking backwards at pace with the cart, and just keeping an eye on everything behind us in case anything comes there.
Val rolled a 19 for perception.
Nice.
Okay. So, Degala, as you jump out the back, you're watching, and part of you almost expects to see people coming up on the flank. The old semblance of the last kind of hollowed out remnants of encampments and similar that people kind of erect when they're not homesteads themselves, either from caravans, especially the caravans that have been moving back and forth towards the city recently for the celebrations, have set their encampments and just done a piss poor job of cleaning up after themselves. Your focus kind of draws towards those as potential places to kind of sit and wait for people to come, but you can't see anything. And the old ruins of old farmsteads and houses, which during the Great War were kind of lost and just have never kind of been recovered, or since in different skirmishes and different fights, and in particular the Conquest War going west, these have basically been claimed or demolished or damaged or destroyed. These are the places where your gaze kind of goes, almost as though you're expecting some sort of glint or symbolic sign of somebody in, but you don't notice anything. Okay. And that is somehow worse. Up towards the front with Gwyn and Val moving along the horses continue to move, head bobbing lightly as they are moving at pace. They don't seem to be disturbed by anything that they themselves can sense or see. And at this point you are coming away from the back of these wagons and moving up now that you're on the level. And Val, your attention does go high and low to where beneath the wagons, above the wagons, around the sides, or in the flaps, various places where, for example, the Huntress might hide, or other members of the Forgotten might be lingering and waiting, just ready to spring the trap. Note, probably waiting for the point where you are pitched between places. For example, when you come level with wagons and there's two on your left and there's one on your right, you kind of expect it now if there's going to be one. But then you'd also expect there to be an obstruction across the bridge to box you in, essentially, because at this point you could just take off at speed going across the bridge. But you don't see anything at the far end of the bridge. You don't see anything on the bridge. And off towards the left, where this encampment is, using the ambient light, you kind of look underneath and almost expect in the shadows which are there, because this is one of the places where the ambient light doesn't fully cover. You almost expect to see eyes or glints or movement, but there's nothing there underneath one wagon. And you look towards the one on the other side, lifting your head up and over the horse to kind of look, and there's nothing there. And Gwyn's own vision is kind of cresting and checking similar areas. He's been out in the wilderness. He kind of expects these kind of obvious places where people would wait and hide. And there's no movement, there's no sound there. The only kind of thing that draws both of your eyes as you look off towards the east and side of it is what looks to be a very small furred object, and then it takes you a moment to realize that this is the remains of a hare that someone's obviously taken and set down with the intention of kind of cooking it. And then as your gaze goes back towards the southernmost area of this encampment, towards these two wagons, two things you notice. The first of all is that the hair which was on the spit, the underside is burnt. It's not been spun for a while. But then the other thing you notice is that there is a bare foot just poking out from beneath one of the wagon wheels. But there is no other signs of movement or life that you can see around from the area you are. At this point, your wagon is now level with the three, two on the left, one on the right.
Does it look like, how big is the foot? Does it look like an adult's foot or like a child's foot?
Hard to see without getting closer. It's a bare foot.
Val will kind of point that out and just sort of say to the others, like, I feel like I need to go and check this if somebody needs help. It seems like they've just abandoned the place. Just give me a second, but get ready to just dart with the horses if you need to, all right?
I mean, we could just carry on and leave this behind.
If it's not an ambush and some people need help, I need to check. Just give me 1 second.
Wouldn't they be calling out if they were in trouble?
Well, maybe they can't.
But in that case, I just say leave them. Let's look after ourselves and get on with it.
We can't walk dead bodies.
How far away is the foot, like from where we are now?
About 20 foot.
James, how long does your psychic link last?
Oh, an hour, it's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Never mind.
You've been traveling for.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
when
well
you-
past that. That's fine, yeah.
I mean, when you left in the afternoon, didn't you?
Oh yeah, if it's just an hour, it's long gone. I was just double
yeah,
checking.
It's 1d6 hours, and I rolled a 1 last time.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
this was a while
Okay.
ago. They would have run out. You've been traveling for a
A
while.
while, yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. You guys keep moving. Dagala's at the back. I can catch up with you pretty easily. I can teleport to you anyway. Let me just.
Right, but if you die, we're doing a mission for you.
No.
What do we do then?
Go on your own way.
Go and get high.
Do what you like. Yeah. Go get high
Yes.
in the woods, Cassian. It's fine.
All right,
There's
I like
some-
that plan. Good
There
luck.
is something off here. I need to double check and make sure whatever may have done this, if anything, is also not going to follow us. So just keep moving at pace. Dagala will see me, I'm sure, and then if needs be, he can stay back to help. But I should be able to just teleport back to you.
Okay. I will keep my eyes out.
I'll start taking off towards the foot. I'm going to also draw my rapier just in case. My scimitar, sorry. I was copying Gwyn. And I would also like to prepare an action if I can.
Okay.
For similar to Cassian, if something does try to attack me, Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
I'll stand about. I will not stop following the car, and I'll stand about. Well, I've got 55 speed now. I'll stand about 30 foot off of where Val is, kind of in a triangle between him and the car.
Just for clarity on prepared actions outside of combat. Prepared actions will obviously take place on your turn if you roll higher in an initiative, but initiative initially is basically representation of reflexes, which is why circumstances where you would be caught surprise gives you disadvantage. So your intention might be to get these attacks off. But if someone rolls higher than you, their reflexes are simply going to be quicker than you, which is what this is symbolic of. Obviously, readied actions work slightly different once an initiative has been set. I'm just making everyone aware that obviously if someone does leap out at you and they get higher initiative, they're going to get to act before you do. So it's just for the
Can I just change that? I don't actually want to do an Eldritch Blast. I'm going to do what I've said to the group, and I'm going to hold a Misty Step action, so I can just bounce out, basically. Which obviously still applies the same way. If they're higher, they'll still get a hit off or whatever. But that's my readied action.
The wagon continues to roll on, and you begin deviating away from one of the horses, stepping around the periphery of this fireplace. Now that you're closer, you can smell the burned flesh of the meat that's not been turned. There's different belongings and things that have been set, different packs, different bedrolls, and similar. It would honestly look like this place is in itself habited, save for the absence of people. And as you do step towards the rightmost, as you're approaching them, wagon of the two, you can see where the wagon wheel is and the foot kind of cresting out. It's quite a small foot. You're probably looking at one belonging to potentially a teenager or similar. It's bare, and as you kind of move in and you reach down and you reach behind the wheel to kind of shake them, you shake and the foot kind of rolls. And then as you kind of take hold of it and pull, you realize that the foot itself is severed about 2 inches above the ankle, as though it's been bitten off.
That's what I thought.
And I'm going to pause there so we can go on a break.
I'm about to throw a foot at the Gala.
I was diced up, ready to go.
The Gala catch.
Amazing.
So we will take a brief pause there, have a 10-minute break, and we will come back at 5 minutes past.
5 past. 5 past
5
2.
past.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yes, any questions or anything, chuck them in the chat, and we'll address them when we get back.
Oh god, we gotta fight, guys! Yay! We'll see you in a second.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us again. So after the brief break, I can't currently see the Twitch chat, so I don't know if there was any questions.
No.
There weren't this time around, no. But there was one question I know from the players. Callum, where have your ears gone?
Huh? Oh, you go. Oh, right. Yeah, they are here. I just didn't have them on. They are here. They detach. I was like, if the audience demands, then they will go back on. But
I think
Depends on how cat-like he's feeling in the day.
somebody might have mentioned it earlier. I think it was. And Amos wants a fit check on the cloak.
Yeah, I honestly just hound me on Discord because as soon as stream ends, I'm in childcare mode and I forget everything.
To be honest, I'm the same. I go straight into edit mode, and so the entire episode just goes out of my head, and it's just clips and edit.
Okay. So, as always, guys, it was noticed, obviously, there was a bit of lag on my side. Whilst I've sorted the internet issue, by and large, the computer that I'm currently using is a bit older, so it is slow. Obviously, these are all technical issues that we'll overcome as and when we can. Obviously, finances being a big factor in everything we do, because we are self-funded. That does mean that I have to kind of grin and bear it until I can afford other kind of setups. So unfortunately for the lag and stuff, we'll try and sort it as best we can. But apologies for technical issues that we can't necessarily overcome just yet. When we do get better setups, better equipment, or move back into a joint place again, obviously these issues will be non-problematic again.
I mean, you didn't drop out. That's the main thing. You didn't drop out at all.
It seems like the connection's fine because I could hear everyone fine. I could hear what was going on and everything. It's just a bit slow when it goes flicking between pages. So
also, thank you, Callum. Thank you,
Bonnie,
Callum.
Bonnie demanded, so I oblige.
So, now back into things.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, the wagon is still moving on. Everyone's seen Val move off towards one of the two wagons, but your focus is very much still on checking the periphery and progressing across this stone bridge which separates the two sides of the river. The river itself is a good 20-30 feet down. Whilst it is not a river to the size of like the canals, for example, that go through Ostia from the River Anduin, this is certainly a sizable enough and probably a deep enough river to necessitate a bridge, certainly if you want to get wagons and carts over it. But it is an open bridge. The runoffs from any rainfall and similar go through the fact that the edges of this wooden bridge, this stone bridge, has openings on either side, periodically across to let water runoff go through, and it's gently arched, so you have complete view to the other side. Your focus is largely on this, whereas Val's is very much on the fact that this bare foot that he's pulled out, this foot itself, besides the fact that it still bears some dirt and some greenery from having gone across the fields, it's still slightly damp as well, suggesting that given that there has been no rainfall, that this is potentially somebody that went down into the river and came back. Do a medicine check.
You'll be lucky. Medicine. Okay.
Would roll really well.
I did not.
Pretending to be dead.
That was an 8.
It's a bear's foot.
Oh, I missed the hair. No, it is clear that something bit this bit down, and the fact that the foot itself is left suggests that it was bitten from the other way.
Oh, okay.
The actual marks themselves, it's quite clear, but the flesh itself bears evidence of slight tears, suggesting that whilst this wasn't just someone sliced through the foot, it had been bitten off, or bitten.
I assume the rest of the body is not under the wagon, it's just the foot, basically.
Are you moving closer to have a look?
I'll have a little...
Nothing's jumped you.
Yeah. I'll have a little dump down. I'd like to see
So
it.
you can hear the comforting sounds of the wagon still moving behind you as your group continues to move. And Dagala towards the back, as he is bringing up the rear, can see Val kind of ducking down and peering underneath the wagon. And where you're looking, do a survival check for me, because you're checking you'd be looking around on the ground.
It's all +1. Ooh, dirty 20.
Okay.
Nice.
There is no blood.
Oh.
There is no blood, and more to the point, what you have noticed now that you're kind of looking back towards the wagon and noticing the trail and places around, there are evidence of foot prints in the ground. Not significant because it's not been rainfall, so it's just gentle disturbance of otherwise dry ground and grass, suggesting that there was around, at least on this side, around 6 people, more or less. There's probably more. Degala gave you a larger number, but there is also a wagon on its own on the other side. And there's movements largely around the campfire and largely towards the back in there of the river, towards the wagons. Where this foot is, there is footsteps behind you that run underneath where you're currently squatted down, to the point where clearly this individual has moved quite quickly from, because these footfalls are quite heavy where they've thrown themselves forwards, not as light as the other footsteps were. The footsteps move from the fire to this area of the wagon where they've basically thrown themselves and crawled underneath. Whilst there is no disturbance on the ground from where you're looking, it's clear that when you look towards the very top of the wagon directly overhead, having to be careful to keep your head clear from it, there is a very slight scuffing, almost like a chalk white scuffing, just underneath the edge, as though something's brushed across the top of it. There is no blood, there is no other limbs, there is no anything. It's just the foot.
And the hours just carries on, and we leave all this behind.
Yeah, I'll kind of hold the foot and just kind of like assess it again. You said the foot was wet, or
Yeah.
like they've just come from the river.
Yeah, the base of it is still wet. So within, I mean, you've seen where the footsteps are. If you were to come out and check, you can follow the tread.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll probably start. I'll kind of hide the foot behind me for a second and start following the footsteps. And as I get closer to Degala, I'll just be like, "Here, hold this," and I'll just chuck it into him.
Okay.
And
What
I'll
have you
just kind
done?
it's just a foot. There's no blood, no body, no nothing. Any ideas? Any creatures you know of that might be able to just do that without any sound, by the way, because we didn't hear shit coming down here.
Can I have a quick glance at the foot and then investigate the tracks that Val is following at the point in time?
Yeah. So I'll say because if anyone else wants to deviate off of the wagon, they can. Otherwise, I'm working on the assumption that whilst anything these guys do is happening, the wagon is still progressing over this bridge. So until someone says that they're doing anything else, that is my assumption. So Degala, you're checking out the foot, and then you're going to go and check.
Yeah, I'm going to check to see if I can discern anything from the actual steps or anything like that, the marks.
Okay. In which case, we'll do a medicine check just for the foot, and then we'll do a survival check from you.
Okay, so the medicine is +4, which
Val's
is
just
13.
following the trail of footprints again. I'm assuming it's going towards the bridge, isn't it? The trail.
Well, there's quite a few. Not necessarily going towards the bridge. It's more the one that you're looking for specifically. With your Dirty 20, you would have been able to see, obviously, coming up alongside the bridge, so going down towards where the river is.
Okay. I'll keep sort of following it off in that direction and wait for the Gala to sort of follow as well.
Okay. Go on,
That'd
medicine.
be a 13 for the medicine and a 15 for either in was it investigation or survival?
It's survival because you're
Survival.
tracking.
15 for survival.
Okay. Yeah. So if it's wilderness, it's more survival. If it's
Yeah,
more
that's right.
urban or something where you're trying to, you know what you're looking for, and you're trying to see a pattern, then it's investigation.
Yeah.
So you'll get advantage on your survival because you're basically following where Val is. Val knows where these tracks are. You're basically following him and picking up the trail underfoot, so you don't kind of have to suss where it is.
That's better. That's a dirty 20 in that case
Okay.
for survival.
So the foot itself, the only thing that you kind of note, other than the fact that there is tears on the separation point for the skin, suggesting that it's been bitten, is there is a chalky residue.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily chalk, but that's probably the closest approximation I can kind of give you as a descriptor.
Does it feel weird or anything like that? Like sort of rubbing it with a thumb?
Mushes into your fingers, and with enough kind of pressure, when you bring your fingers away, it's kind of, all you're left with is kind of the rosy point of your finger where you've been applying pressure and friction to it.
Okay.
But then as you begin following Val, the wagon itself starts going and across the bridge, and you can see the amber glow of the lanterns as they kind of separate away from the glows of the two firesides and start carrying their light source further away from you. You start moving down the path, the embankment, going further down towards the base of the bridge. Both of you, with your dark vision and the fact that you've got a light source overhead, even though it's moving slightly away from you at a steady pace, can move down towards the base of the river. The footsteps go in a quick pace, not as heavily as they did from the fireside to the wagon. That's mainly for Val's benefit. But they're quite a quick pace going up the bank, and given that the bank's on an incline, that kind of explains itself. The footsteps go back towards the base where this riverside is, and it's here that you start noticing other things. Do a perception check for me, and the guys on the bridge can do a perception check as well. Apart from Draenor, because he's still working with his herbalism kit.
How far ahead is the wagon from where I am now, where Val is?
You're probably about 30 foot up.
Cool. I will very quickly, while we're sort of following the trails and stuff, I'm going to use my new ability with my new scimitar, where I can cast message once per dawn. So I'm going to point towards the wagon, focusing specifically on Cassian. And Cassian, in your head, you'll hear Val saying, the foot was severed. No body parts, no blood. Keep an eye over the bridge.
Pretty dark. But I will.
Okay. Did you make those perception checks?
18.
Oh, was I making one as well? Sorry.
Yes. Anyone on the bridge can, and anyone below, but obviously it'll be to cover different areas.
17 for Val.
10.
Is it with a disadvantage or just normal?
It's just normal because the light itself will cover where you can see on the bridge. To see beyond that, the DC is just higher.
16.
16. Okay. The bridge itself is clear. There is only one thing that kind of gains your attention. And is the what?
Small child.
No. So atop the bridge, in one of those kind of hold runoffs to allow the water to go off, there's something kind of stuck out. And as you're kind of going past, you notice that it looks to be an arrow, where the edge of it has been broken and fractured from where it struck stone. And it is just lodged there. Part of the arrow is probably gone with the runoff and fallen down into the river below, but the arrow itself is wedged between 2 points in stone and just stuck there at an angle. Other than that, the bridge itself looks undisturbed. The only thing to suggest that this is a relatively new arrow is the fact that the feathering on it is still largely flush and undisturbed, whereas at time it'd be eroded, and potentially the arrow itself would be dislodged and fall off, suggesting that it's probably newer addition to the bridge. Down below, where Degala and Val have moved towards the river, you notice a few things. One, the tracks at the base of the water, there's not just one, there's several, but they stop about 5 foot, 10 foot going towards the route that you took down, as though whatever was there just suddenly vanished. The base of the water itself has numerous buckets, which were one partially full, another fully full, and a third on its side. On the far side, that you can kind of see from where you are, there are bows which are lying unattended. Arrows which have been embedded into the ground, which are likewise unattended.
Mm-hmm.
And across the side of one of the basin of the bridge that you can kind of see, now that you look, all underneath the bridge is a chalky white residue that just lessens across the top and gets wider as it comes towards the point where it goes into the embankment off towards your right. There are also packs on the other side. Oh, still with me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My screen's just gone dark. 1 second. Let's bring you back. There we go. I can see everyone again. There are also packs on the far side in the underbrush, which is a slight way back from where these bows are, that you can see jutting out. And the only reason you can see them is from wherever they've been put, they've toppled over and are lying, some of their contents partially dislodged from the flap.
The white chalk on the leg, was that around where it looks as though the bite and the incision took place? Val, that white chalk on the bottom of the bridge, if it matches where the leg was chomped, what if it signifies where there's going to be a break?
Possible.
If someone's watching this place, which they clearly have been,
Well, what should we do then?
get the fuck over that bridge as fast as possible.
How far is the wagon over the bridge now?
The wagon is about halfway across.
Okay.
Right.
I was more
So we
thinking along
just
the
above
lines
the
of...
chalky spot.
Almost.
Basically.
I was more thinking along the lines of, do you remember those old fairy tales that you were told as a kid about like trolls and things living under bridges? That's more what I was thinking of.
Oh, trolls. Okay.
Well,
Very-
creatures.
And like, the gal is on edge now. He's primed for a jump.
But also-
how wide's the river?
The river itself is probably about 50 foot.
We'll jump in that. I think we should get going as soon as is humanly possible, Val.
Get back to the wagon.
And do I shout? The gala will call out to Cassian.
Oh no! Shut the fuck up!
Cassian, fast as you can,
Oh,
get
God.
over the bridge.
That's Tagala. Why are you being loud?
Okay.
Because I'm worried it's going to snap
You're-
in a second.
Your voice rings out, and there is almost a moment where you expect either a shout or disturbance of the water. You expect the twanging of arrows. You expect the crumpling of stone, potentially. There's a host of things that you expect from this sudden noise, and your breath kind of catches as you anticipate it. But the only response that you get to it is from anyone on the bridge that wants to reply.
Gwyn will go, what?
The
Let me slow down so I can hear it.
Do you
No,
slow
just-
down?
No. We'd probably just carry on as normal, because if we don't want to draw attention to ourselves, we'd want to make sure we're carrying on as normal.
With my passive 14, would I have heard that shouting?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so I think Draenor will put his healer's kit back in his pack and sort of work his way over to the front, sort of stick his head out. And like, oh, what's going on, Cassian?
I don't know, the elf's playing tricks again, I think.
Oh, okay.
Have you still got the foot, Tagala?
Yeah, I'll still have the foot on me.
Cool. I'm gonna, with the foot, that chalky white like sort of residue, I'm gonna use some of the parchment that I've got on me and try and just like wipe a bit off, because the intention is to give it to Draenog to see if he can identify what it is. You're a herbalist. I don't know. You can identify substances. There you go. And I'm just gonna kind of keep it in a bit of parchment, and I'm just like, ugh. Tuck it away in my pouch for a second. And
Do
then
you
I'm
want
gonna
me to keep this foot?
No, no, I gave it to you more as just like a joke than anything. I didn't expect you to carry it all this way, to be fair.
But if you hand me a severed body part, it's quite a significant thing. I'm going to hang on to it until you tell me otherwise, because it's important.
It's a foot, Dagala.
It's somebody's foot. It's not
Yeah.
attached to them.
No, it's not. So why would you need it?
Are you having this conversation by the river?
Yeah.
Look, I don't. They might still be alive and want their foot back, but also, it's a person's foot. It's not. It's not just a candle or something that
No,
you
but-
don't care about. It's a foot.
Yeah, but what you're saying makes no sense. You're just carrying around a foot. What are you gonna do with it?
I thought you wanted me to keep it safe.
No, I did it as a joke. It's funny, to be fair, you've walked all this way with a foot. That's quite hysterical. You can put it down if you'd like.
I shove it back into Val's chest and just storm off, off towards the bridge.
I'll just let it drop to the floor, it's fine. And then I'll follow him.
Bloody
Okay.
SMR bastards.
So you start heading back up onto the bridge. And by the time you actually manage to get up on level with the bridge, the wagon is almost mostly on the other side now. With the light from the lanterns radiating off, there is... remind me of your passives.
14.
11 across the board for Val.
Is this for
12.
perception?
This is for the 3 that are on the wagon.
Oh, sorry.
12.
12.
14. And I can see in the dark.
Yeah, so it'd be Drainog largely that notices now that he's poked his head up. Off into the sides, you can see there is, especially with your attunement to nature and the fact that you can notice the fact that there is growth between where some of this wood is now grown in close proximity to the river. Not a massive wood, not a substantial one. It's just the cluster of trees which are around this area. There is a clear disturbance where multiple forms have come out of this wood and disturbed the underbrush. You can see some footfalls coming out that stop. But the thing that really gets your attention is the fact that you can see in gripping one of the trunks looks to be a hand. And as you kind of immediately look and start drawing the attention, the wagon progresses enough where you can see that the hand itself severs a short distance around, but is gripping the bark so tightly that the hand is still in place.
What the fuck is going on?
Do you want to carry that around as well, Dagala? Weirdo.
And I'll point this out to them. Like, oh, there's a severed hand there, and these trees, there's quite thorny. Perhaps there's a spirit that needs a toll paying.
But perhaps we just leave that the fuck alone and go about our business.
Yes, that sounds more agreeable.
Where are the other two?
Over there, I think.
They're gone, they're
Moving
gone.
to catch up behind the wagon.
Playing footsie.
Oh, wait, okay.
Well, here's the question now that everyone's caught up on the other side of the bridge and you are about coming level with this point that Dagala's now, Draenog's now pointed out. How long do you intend to move it? It's getting darker. You can push on with the horses. You lot can sleep, and as long as someone stays awake to move the horses forwards, but eventually the horses will need to take a rest.
That's the point. Do we want to rest here?
Oh, don't be stupid. Yeah, let's keep
So
moving
maybe
for a
like
little while.
another little while before we
Yeah.
rest.
Another hour.
This don't seem safe.
Yeah, another hour or so.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay,
probably.
so how long do you want to keep going for?
An hour?
Yeah.
There is now starting to be bodies of trees on this side of the river. Now that you're coming towards the point where there's not immediate grassland to the west of Ostia, which is largely where the farmsteads and the open terrain were, and where they're more tightly regulated on the bodies of trees for the reasons that were mentioned previously. On the western side of the river, there is more bodies of trees, not to the significant degree where you count it as woods or forests. That is to the west of the mountains, but on this side and east of Beldron, there are large enough bodies to trees where if you did want to deviate off from the road, you could to get yourself out of immediate sight. Whilst this does give you the option to do that, it also means that you now starting to have clusters of trees on either side of the roads. They're cut back enough from the roads where it doesn't immediately interrupt on it, because obviously this would be in part regulated to make sure that there's no overgrowth overshadowing the roads leading out of Ostia, especially this close to Ostia. But there is now not open terrain towards either side of the roads. So how far do you want to move?
Yeah, I'd say maybe like an hour from the bridge. Probably be a good distance away.
Are we best staying on the road? I'm not sure if we go to the trees with a wagon. The wagon might get stuck.
Yeah. Is it like an embankment at all, or is it pretty much level? Like the road is level with the sort of trees? Okay, cool.
I mean, the only strangeness that we've encountered so far is the severed foot and hand, which were pretty strange, to be fair. But apart from that, everything seems fine. I think we should be okay on the side of the road.
Oh, there was the fawns as well. The trees, the bushes, the wildlife had fawns growing through. That seems not quite.
Are we far enough away from it now?
I think it's been about an hour or so. I think we've made some good distance. And also, Draenor, aren't thorns part of nature?
This is precisely why I hate going out in it. Nature just attacks you wherever you go.
These things, different plants will grow different fawns, but this seems to have been more as if it was set there.
Right.
Yeah. Well, something happened there, and whatever happened quickly, because Dagala, you said you saw people there before, right? When we were at the top of the hill. And then
at the top of the hill there was, I don't know, 6-7 people or so around the fire. It looked
there was
busy.
No noise, no nothing. I didn't hear any screams, didn't hear anything.
Well, was one of your old compatriots able to do anything like that?
I mean, they were all capable of being very visceral like that, but not as far as being soundless and things like that I know of. But again, it's been a long time. They could have learned new tricks.
Or anything to do with plants?
Yeah, were any of them druids or rangers, perhaps?
Yeah, the huntress, she was a huntress, basically, yeah. She was a capable tracker, and she spent a lot of time in the woodlands and things. She could manipulate plants, I think, from sometimes, but I don't know to full extent what she's capable of now.
We saw a number of bows in the ground on the other side. This suggests it was a planned attack of more than one person, of several people, with pretty basic equipment.
Or a creature. And they tried to defend themselves at the campfire.
Or a creature.
As I said before, perhaps there's a spirit that lingers there, and they try to rest in the territory of this spirit and didn't pay the toll.
Wait, do you mean ghosts are real?
Well, yes. I mean, dragons are real, ghosts are real.
Oh, speaking of which, Draenor, this is going to sound really weird, but there was this substance around the sort of severing of the foot, and I saw some on the underneath of the bridge as well. I don't know if you can identify what it is. Maybe if you can just have a look, see if it rings any bells where you're. I don't know.
That's with herbs than feet. Okay.
Well, it's not the actual foot; it's just the residue around it.
Oh,
the Gala might still have the foot for all we know. I'm not sure. He had a weird attachment to it, but
no,
does he have a thing for feet?
You've got a foot thing. I know people with feet things.
I have an appreciation for feet and what they can do. My feet are very, very powerful, but it doesn't mean I fetishize them.
So, there was a substance?
Yes, I'll hand the parchment over to Draenog, and it's just where I've wiped a bit of the substance off. It's on the parchment.
Okay. The Draenor, do a nature check for me.
Yep, a nature check.
Sorry, Josh.
You're trained in. Are you trained in herbalism?
I'm trained in herbalism, and I'm trained in nature.
Right. So so advantage on the check.
Ooh,
See,
advantage.
I knew it.
While he's checking, do I still have a little bit left on my hands? I hadn't rubbed it off.
No, you
fully.
rubbed it off.
Okay, no worries. I was gonna
So-
lick it.
That's a nat.
Yeah, go on.
20 for 24.
Ah,
Ooh, yeah.
I knew it was a good idea.
Okay.
I'll wait to look at it.
This looks to be. It's very much got the appearance of white dust. But it is a biological dust. Almost like what you'd get from the ashes of someone that had been cremated, but without the fire damage to it. It's as though someone's been broken, flesh or similar has been broken down to an almost powder-like residue without any significant damage, while retaining a whitish, chalk-like appearance. But it was very hard to tell the difference between that and whether or not this is just a chalky substance. It's only because of your natural 20 that you can actually tell that this is actually skin.
Oatmeal.
It's essentially like it's flesh that's been broken down into.
It's as if it's been disintegrated.
Without the kind
Without
of
any,
down,
yes.
it's almost as though someone has basically broken someone down from a normal substance into that without damaging the body to the degree where you'd have the wear and tear on it. It's almost like someone's changed someone from this to this without the damage component between the two. It is a very strange thing, but it's still a natural substance. It's just the process that is not one that you're familiar with.
That's terrifying.
Okay. And it's definitely kind of a very biological
It's
kind
biological.
of residue.
You are basically holding the powder of somebody's skin and muscle that's turned into a powdery substance.
Okay. Yes, it seems someone was turned into this kind of dust. But perhaps they were hit with something, and that's why the foot's just left, because they didn't, it just skimmed the foot off.
Do you know of any magic that powerful?
No, this has more necrotic vibes than it does druidic vibes. This is this is no animal, what I can say.
I will say with your natural 20, this is not magical.
Oh,
No, it's worse.
yeah.
But perhaps this has something to do more with the undead than it does to do with nature. It's quite peculiar, and he'll give it, a good sniff, and it's definitely, meaty.
Are you
Good
sniffing it?
sniff, good sniff, yeah, good sniff.
Right. Do me a favor, Josh.
Yes.
Deafen everyone apart from Drainog.
Oh,
Okay, we are
the
going.
first-
And just give me a thumbs up when everyone should be deafened. Right. Okay, so can anyone else hear me apart from Dean? Fantastic. Josh, everyone's deafened?
I think
Fantastic.
Josh is deafened as well.
No, that's fine. That's kind of what I wanted, so I'm just making sure. Drano, you sniff this powder, and immediately, perhaps involuntarily, some of it goes up your nose. It is that light that the sniff causes it to come up, and immediately your eyes go wide, and you see for the briefest of moments you're looking at the base of water of a river, not familiar to yourself because you didn't go down, but the bridge just on your peripheral you do recognize the bridge that you're currently on. You begin focusing on the water in front of you that you're trying to get into this bucket, and then you hear a disturbance, and as you look up you see multiple figures armed with bows rushing down the embankment towards you, and immediately they begin notching their arrows. As you drop your bucket, you turn towards figures that you feel like you should recognize, but the names don't escape you, and try and grab them, but one of them stumbles and you turn and you start running to get away. You expect to hear the loosening of an arrow because you can certainly hear the string being pulled taut. But then all of a sudden, there is a silence. And as you look back, the arrows are toppling to the floor. And your companions that were behind you are led in a back kind of crab crawl, blindly moving back, and their backs hitting the stone as they're not looking where they're trying to backpedal, and they are staring across the encampment. You continue to start running, looking back just in time to see a white glimmer of a shape reflected atop the water, moving out from under the bridge. And then, rather than wait to see what it is, your gaze goes back up towards the encampment of people ahead as you start screaming for help and fighting to find purchase on the dry ground, the dry, muddy incline, trying to get away. And you make a beeline towards the light of the fire, which to your animal brain, in this sense, now that fight or flight's kicked in, represents safety from whatever the hell's behind you. But the whimpering and the stammering of your friends suddenly goes quiet. And then you suddenly blink and you are back in the room. Can everyone hear me again?
Everyone should be able to hear now.
Yeah. Fantastic. So, for a moment, Drainog just sits wide-eyed, and his pupils fully dilate. And he begins whimpering for a few moments, and then his pupils undilate and he jerks forwards.
There was a white figure under the bridge. It attacked us. I had a vision. I could see that we'd gone down to the water, and then my compatriots came down with bows, and I fled. They were afraid. There was something under the bridge.
What?
You had a vision from the person's point of view, the one who we got the residue from.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
There was something under the bridge.
Yeah, there was one white figure being that scared my compatriots.
We didn't see anything under the bridge afterwards, and maybe it had disappeared.
No, we saw nothing, ultimately.
There was nothing white under the bridge.
Did it look like it needed help?
What was that, Gwyn?
Sorry, did it look like it needed help?
No, it didn't. It attacked the others.
And I'm just checking. It didn't look like that child thing that we freed that also severed a body part from someone.
I didn't quite see it correctly, but that was a shadow thing, not a white being.
There was some white chalk on the underside of the bridge. That's why I shouted out to Cassian. I thought it was something that the chalk severed the limb and was going to break the bridge. That's why I told him to get over the bridge faster.
I think
I thought you were just fucking around.
I do not fuck around. I am a very serious elf.
I think that was just more of the residue there, the Gala. How it got up there, I have no idea. Unless it's from the creature itself, maybe. I don't know. Well, I mean, it's a good thing that we've moved on anyway. But are you okay, Drainog?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Well, I think it's probably a good time that we set up camp and then sleep.
I agree.
Yeah, let's take some watches tonight as well.
I'll take the parchment from Val.
With the residue on it, there's not a lot. I don't think you gathered a lot.
No, I just what I could.
Yeah. Okay, so the question then is, where are you going to have this encampment? At the moment, you've still got the open road ahead of you. There's still greenery to either side. Even in the dark, you can tell that it's still vibrant landscape. Despite the kind of dread of what you've just seen or felt or kind of got the feeling of on the bridge, and the fact that you are now flanked on both sides by wooden outcrops, which kind of hinder your view, which naturally make you feel a bit more caged than you otherwise would. Despite that, you are still in grassland landscape. It's just the absence of light suddenly makes it feel a lot less inviting than it did Do you want to be encamping close to the road, to the side of the road, on the road, in the woods? Where do you want to go? But at the moment, there is a stretch of woodery to your left and to your left and to your right. So you kind of are limited on options being here as opposed to being back by the water.
I would just suggest let's pull off the road and just camp nearby. I don't want to go all the way into the woods because you made a good point about the wagon getting stuck. We don't want that.
And, a field is better for a horse to graze on as well, rather than being in woodland. I think it makes more sense for them there.
Well, we've got feed for them as well. I think we should keep the horses close as possible because if we lose them, we're also kind of stuffed.
Definitely. Okay, let's pull off just over here then.
Yeah.
Okay. So you pull off towards the away from the road onto the greenery, between you and the woods. The horses are easily led the moment that you start gesturing with the reins to take them to one side. The fact that they are now deviating away from cold stone underfoot towards grass is incentive enough for them to comply, even with their unfamiliarity with yourselves. And they deviate quite quickly towards the grass. And then when you pull up on the reins to stop them and slow, their attention almost immediately goes towards the grass. Whatever they've been fed, it's been a little while yet, so their focus is largely on feeding themselves. The wagon rolls to the stop. And with the land being very flat and being level with the road, there's no disturbance of your positions, no disturbance of anything within the wagon or any other kind of things which take your focus and allow you to focus on the fact that the woodland itself, although it's quite small by comparison to the woods and forests that litter Elysium, is still quite dense. There's still enough greenery, enough brushes, enough closeness of spacing of trees where you can't just see clearly through the trees off into the distance. At some point, your vision does become hindered by woodland, especially for those that can't see that far. And even people with dark vision is not as clear as normal vision in the daylight. So eventually, your ability to see into the distance, even with lanterns, does come to a stop. But you can see enough where there's not immediately anyone hiding in the trees. There's no aggressive wildlife which is suddenly taking stock of you. There is sounds of wildlife retreating. Obviously, the birds and squirrels and similar small livestock that were close to the tree line made their getaway to try and make distance from the loud wagon, which is now pulling close. Are you going to keep the horses attached, or are you going to let them off?
I would say probably maybe let them off of the wagon, but tie it like around a tree maybe, so they've got just a bit of space to roam and actually sleep.
Yeah.
That's my suggestion, unless anyone else suggests anything
No,
else.
I think it's a good idea. We don't want them running off with the wagon if they
No,
get stuck
exactly.
at night, do
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult to sleep when you're attached to a wagon.
Yeah, exactly.
we? Yeah, true.
Okay, so you've let them off and you've attached them to one of the trees, so they're close to the tree line. You yourselves, where are you going to be setting up your encampment?
Probably slightly in between, I guess.
It was, I think, if you remember correctly, we've got a bunch of bedrolls ourselves, but we've also got some in the wagon.
We do, yeah. So I think between the horses and the wagon seems like a good idea, having them flanking us on either side.
Okay,
Seems like a good
so
shout.
you've got the wagon close between you and the road,
Yeah.
essentially, and then the horses off towards your left. Okay. Here it is quite, now that the wildlife is kind of skittered off and the horses are quietly grazing, it's in some way it's comforting, especially for those familiar with being around horses and similar. They do get quite skittish if there's something there to disturb them. The fact that they're quite placid and undisturbed, even being this close to the trees, is itself reassuring in a subtle way. You begin setting up your own encampments. Are you lighting a fire?
What do we reckon, guys?
Fire. A lot of campfire.
Okay, yeah. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Let's light a fire.
Yes.
Fuck it.
It's cold.
Yes.
Cold.
It's actually quite warm.
It's cuddle.
Oh,
It's quite warm. True to the prediction from Degala, although that the sun has vanished behind the mountains that you can see cresting over the top of the tree line off in the distance. You know it's not the Waterspine Mountains, but an offshot of it. The fact that it's vanished behind them, even with the absence of the sun's rays and the onset of twilight and the gradual progression of night, it is still quite warm. Pleasantly so, but it's not so much the temperature that's the concern about whether or not you have it, it's the absence of the light. Because dark vision, it allows you to see in dim light, not total darkness.
Yeah, we probably should have a fire then, shouldn't we?
And as noted, the moon is not currently visible overhead.
Yeah, we'll have fire then, I guess.
And I assume everybody's relatively tired. In terms of taking watches, I'm quite happy to do one. I don't need that much rest. I only need a few hours in a sort of trance state, so I'm happy to take a longer chuck if people need some sleep.
I'll take a watch.
Yeah, I'll take a watch as well, obviously. But
Well, can you see much?
Yes, I can. What was that, Gwyn?
I'll say, Degala, why don't you take first rest and then be more awake in the morning?
Yeah, I can do that. That's not a problem.
Because it's dark now, it's not as dark as it will be.
Yeah. I have some capabilities to see in dim light, so having it be darker and myself or whoever else can see in dim light at that point is probably more beneficial. So while it's a bit lighter, I'd say one of you guys take it, perhaps Gwyn or Cassian. I'm guessing you can't see shit.
Not at all.
That's a terrible shame. If only humans were better in any way.
I mean, I was just going to have a nap instead.
Well, if we do maybe Gwyn first watch, the gala maybe in the middle of the night, and then I'll take the last watch up
Yeah,
until
sounds
early
good.
morning.
So, Gwyn,
Sounds good.
Dugala, and then Val.
Yeah.
Okay. So, question: you've got I'm guessing, a campfire lit. Are the lanterns still burning, or have you doused them?
I think if we've got a campfire, do we need them?
Probably douse them.
If we just douse one of them, the other side towards the road, we keep lit.
Okay. It's just so that we know what's currently with the wagon, because obviously if you deviate from the wagon at any point, I want to know what light sources you've still got.
Yeah.
Because the inability to see at night is a woefully underplayed factor of a fantasy setting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, are the lanterns still on the wagon, or have you taken them back?
Harry, were you sort of suggesting keep them on the wagon and keep the one on the roadside lit while still on the wagon?
Yeah, just in case we need to quickly make a move, then having them there is probably best. We have other lanterns in the back.
That's true, yeah. And we've got a campfire going, which will be kicking out a lot of light. We may as well keep them on the wagon, I guess.
Okay. With the light lit, this is actually quite a pleasant area that you've set up. The grass is not overgrown. The road itself is well maintained, especially this close to the capital, especially with troop movements back and forth in recent years. It's well maintained, and you can see that down the stretch of the road in both directions until the extent of the light ends. There is no one coming on either way of it, which in itself is reassuring and slightly worrying. There were still people heading up from the road in your direction. Part of you wonders how long it will take before they reach the bridge if they're still heading northwest. But then you start busying yourself with the fact of getting your packs out, getting your bedrolls out, starting to prepare for the night. It's up to you whether or not anyone's going to be in the wagon or if people are actually setting up outside of it. The wagon, even with what you could have purchased, is not necessarily going to comfortably have all six of you and all of your gear in at all times. That would have cost a lot more than what was agreed and what she could comfortably procure. So there are bed places, but it's more a case of if someone's sleeping on there while you're in movement, that's where they can sleep instead of having to be out and about. So who's going to be in the wagon? Who's going to be out of it?
I think
Cassian would be getting changed into his silk pajamas in the back of the wagon, just assuming that one of these places is for him.
And we keep Philip inside as well, just in case.
Chuck him out the back. He's not moving. He could just lie on the grass.
Put him on the roof.
A gargoyle.
Strap him on.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Cassian in the back makes sense. Degala will quite happily go on the grass. He'll just, cross his legs on the grass, close his eyes, have his hands down in the grass, and just go into a trance state.
Yeah.
Okay.
Val. Sorry, I was just gonna say Val will do his usual thing when he's camping in the wilderness. He'll set up his little one-man tent that he always has, because he doesn't like sleeping out in the open for various reasons, but still next to the sort of fire. And also, as soon as he has the opportunity, changing my dark cloak out, and he's putting his Dragonfly one back on and keeping that on him again.
Okay.
Yeah, Draenor will set up near where the horses are, where the the tree that they're tied to. So he's underneath the tree, so if it does start to rain, he's nice and dry. And he does intend to sort of have a little chatter with them as well.
So you're close to the tree line.
Yeah, I'm against the tree that the horses are tied to.
Cool. Right, so silk pajamas, single bedroll, trance, close to whereabouts were you, Degala?
I'd
Close to
probably
the wagon?
be situated in between, sort of right by the campfire, in between
Okay.
the wagon and the horses, like pretty
Same.
centrally. And
And
what about Gwyn?
Yeah, your first watch, where are you taking it from, Gwyn?
I think I'm going to be sat on top of the carriage.
On the front bench.
No, like on top.
Okay.
Just like feet.
Okay, so it gives you a decent vantage point so you can see both sides of it. It does make you a bit more obvious to anyone that sees, but then again, if they're going to see your wagon, they're going to assume people are going to be there anyway. So,
And there's a fire.
yeah, and there's a fire. Yeah, so in which case then, let's say, so it's going to be 2-hour watch each.
I'll do
'Cause
4.
I think the
if
long
need
rest
be.
will provide for a 2-hour period where you can do things like watch. But I think longer than that, you start to lose the benefits of long rest.
Yeah.
I might just be going off of the old rules, but rather than hold this up and look it up, I'm going to work on that assumption for now.
That's fine. But before we go to sleep, just because I know he's been thinking about it for 7.5 hours. Dean, are you talking to the horses?
Yeah, I'll be having a little chat with the horses. Yeah, I need to burn a second level spell slot as well.
No worries. We will go to that. Let me just get these rolls done.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course,
first.
of course. Just had to check.
But I do need to know, if everyone's 2 hours, are you having a 2-hour period where you're not on watch?
I'll do 4. I just need a 4-hour trance to be full
Okay.
rested.
4 hours.
Yeah. I'll do 4 hours in the middle and 2 hours sleep either side.
Okay. Right. In which case, then, Gwyn, can I get a roll from you, and then we'll have Draenor's conversation.
What kind of roll do you need?
Perception, because you're on watch.
Come on, Gwyn. Come on.
Oh, let's use the dice that I think are better, but I have no basis for. 16.
Oh,
Nice.
not bad.
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay. You sit yourself up on top, Gwyn, and you begin looking around. At this point, you've got a more unimpeded view of everything going on. You can hear your companions moving about, getting themselves all set up, and it gives you a bit of breathing space now that you're not kind of on a bench, shoulder to shoulder with other people. You can see off into the tree lines. You can see through it a bit more easily than you could from the lower level, where the foliage and everything stops most views. Can't see too far. You are still human, and your limitations are very much there in terms of what the light shows. The flickering of shadows is particularly distracting, and it takes you a moment to kind of accept that within your mind, that the flickering of shadows is not necessarily a movement you need to keep drawing your eye to. And when that settles in your mind, it's a bit easier to kind of divert your attention rather than just lingering on the tree line, which is close. You can see Draenog setting up close to where the horses are, and your attention goes back and forth across the roadways. You do note the only thing that kind of draws your attention as you start settling in is before the lamp lights start to, the ambient light of the evening starts to dim even further, is the powdery chalk that you'd previously noticed or previously been highlighted to you. There is the faintest trails on the roadside on the opposite roadside that you can kind of see on the short wall, but also you can't tell whether or not that's just chipping of stone or whether or not it is legitimately this kind of dusty substance. You don't know. Either something is kind of uses this place as passage, or you are just hyper focused on something that got highlighted to you along with the mention of severed limbs. It's hard to tell, but you've noticed it, but you can't differentiate whether or not that's definitely it. Is there anything you want to do while you're on watch before I flick to Drainog?
Have a drink of water, keep an eye out specifically in that direction, and just keep watching.
Okay, so given most focus towards where you've seen this substance.
Most focus towards there, keep an ear out for anything else. Eyes there, ears everywhere else.
Fantastic. Okay, Drainog. You make your way over towards these horses and start setting up.
Mm-hmm.
What are you casting?
I will cast Speak with Animals. And then I'm going to take out a morsel of food from my pouch. And, just some dried, some rations, so some nuts and stuff. And I'll walk over to them and cast Animal Friendship. So I'm going to upcast it to use a second level spell so I can target both of them. They would need to do a wisdom saving throw or be charmed, because Drainog is charming. And who needs spell slots? They just take up space.
Okay.
Right?
They don't kind of shy away from you necessarily. One seems a bit more kind of aware of you moving, and it's the one that had the strongest reaction when you started to wild shape in front of them in close proximity. The other one kind of lifts its head to one side, focuses on you, and just kind of blinks at you, focused there. The other one kind of shifts its weight on its feet and then turns its attention more towards the companion horse that it has with it, almost as though it's trying to keep you in peripheral but not focus on you directly. The other one is just kind of staring at you as you're approaching.
Yeah, and so I'll speak in a language that they can understand. Let me just check the exact wording for the new rules. Comprehend and verbally communicate with beasts. Blah blah blah. Most beasts have little to say other than survival or companionship. They can give me basic information about what they've seen in the past days and stuff. But like I said, I'm going to do Animal Friendship as well, which it just is the charm effect.
Yeah, of course.
Which just
you can communicate with them.
Well, yeah, I can speak with them, but also this will give me advantage at any social interaction with them. But he's just kind of going, "Oh, hey guys," and so now they can understand him in a similar language.
Okay.
It's good that you joined us. I have some food for you. So he's got like he's going to use 2 of his rations to, he's picked out all the nuts and kind of berries and stuff for them.
Right, so for anyone else that might be listening, mainly Gwen, because Gwen's on watch, the noises and stuff from the horses are just going to be horse noises. They're going to be, soft whinnying and similar. To Drainog,
Ooh, that's perfect. Horse noise.
The eyelashes, I can tell what it's like.
I'll communicate with you simply for the sake of transparency, exactly the kind of impression that you're getting from them. One which is the younger one. They're both comparatively young, but the Maple Grey is kind of more focused on you. Let me just double check it is the Maple Grey, because even horses have stories. Double check. Yeah, the Maple Grey. No, sorry, the Chestnut Brown is the younger one, so that one's the one that's kind of focused and giving you more attention. It's the Shifter.
Hi, hello.
But he doesn't smell like horse.
No. I come from a place where we are very close with the animals, and he'll, sort of raise his hand with the nuts and berries.
Not grass, but just tastes nice, smells nice, and he starts eating. And the other one kind of tosses its head, and the impression that you get is no. Shapes too big, too unknown. No.
No. So, you're going to be a part of our little group now, and I'll do my best to take care of you both. Okay?
Calf. Friends. Horse.
Yes. Friend of horse. Yes.
And it kind of lifts its head away from where it's eating the berries and the nuts, and kind of nuzzles up the arm, and then kind of it's meant to be a soft nuzzle, but given the size different, it kind of just baps you in the side of the head with its nose, and then just does as it kind of breathes out, and your beard and your hair just. But it kind of takes a step or two closer as it kind of nuzzles you to the extent that it's able to with the tie. The other one hasn't moved away from you, but has not moved closer, and is still watching you out of the peripheral, because I'm guessing people would have taken the blinders off so they can actually see.
Oh, yeah.
The other one is kind of moving in closer and inspecting you, mainly through scent, and his eyes are kind of focused forwards on you.
But yeah, I will take care of you guys and make sure you're okay. And I am a friend of horse, and he'll motion towards like the wagon and where the rest of the group are. And these are my friends.
They're safe.
Yeah, they're safe. They're good. Do you have
Okay.
names? What did the people call you?
No names.
No names?
Just no. Colors. And it kind of lifts its head towards the side, and it's more indicative of the fact that it's looking at its kind of flank and the different colors.
Okay, so grey and brown. If you have names you would like us to call you, we can certainly do that. But grey and brown, they're good. Very good names.
Kind of just dips its head in acknowledgement of this. It's becoming more comfortable. There was a kind of lingering tension there before you'd started casting and started the charm, which is now clear. The fact that it's worked on one, it's not worked on the other, is the fact that they're obviously having someone change into a large shape, even though that shape is, in fact, probably the fact that you changed into a horse, but you definitely didn't have the scent of a horse, and you were previously not a horse, is even something that an animal can kind of go, whoa, hang on, that's new. One is naturally a bit more skittish, you get the feeling. The younger one is a bit more open-minded, but the impression that you get is amicable. It's certainly comfortable, and as you start interacting with it, and as it's clear that its mate doesn't just suddenly get stabbed and eaten, the fact that the other one just starts to ease slightly. It doesn't come and interact with you, but it starts easing a bit more, and its focus goes more towards the grass. And as the 2 hours go on, assuming that there's not anything else that you do, and you do linger in the area, eventually its grazing starts to come a little closer to where you are. Is there anything you want to say to them or do within the 2 hours with them?
One, I'll ask, am I okay to sleep here? And he'll motion towards the tree.
Yes.
And we'll be going to a village soon, so more people. Is there any particular food that you like? Carrots, apples, potatoes?
Apples.
Apples?
And it kind of lifts its head towards the trees, almost as though you're indicating apples, and it can't see any. So its attention goes back to you, and it grazes up or down your arm again, almost as though it's looking for apples.
I will look for apples.
Yes, apples.
Yeah.
Good apples, tasty apples.
Yeah, and he'll he'll do a kind of a performative kind of a quick look around, as if he's looking for apples.
It stares at you almost as though it's expecting you to suddenly go, oh, look, there's one.
And then he'll go, I think it's time we go to sleep now, and he'll set up his bedroll at the in the roots of the tree.
No apples?
No apples, but I will look for apples.
And then he kind of turns its head back towards the other horse, which his attention kind of drifted from the grass towards you when the discussion of apples was being said, and it looks at it and just goes, no apples. And then its attention just drifts back towards the grass, and then it just, apples later.
Apples later.
Okay, so you start setting up underneath the tree. It's a decent enough area where they've been saddled. I'd assume that where you would have put the horses is not going to be an area that's particularly dense. So just to ensure that people can't just sneak right up to your horses and you wouldn't know until the horses have gone. So it's comfortable enough, and you're more at home amongst trees and woodlands, so it's not quite as alarming as people that come from the city. Gwyn, your focus remains upon that chalky area, although you are listening and you can hear the occasional words from Draenog, mention of apples, the occasional whinnying, the kind of heavy breathing of horses that are just ejecting air as a kind of emphasis to whatever communication is going on. I mean, he's a gnome. It's not unusual for these to actually have some sort of significance rather than just horses making horse noises. But the rest of the camp around you has gotten a little quieter. The only other thing which draws your attention is that you can hear the sound of the flap beneath you opening. And as you kind of look down, Philip is now stood on the seat and just kind of staring out. Otherwise, he's not moving.
I think we're just going to keep watching to see what happens. Not going to call out just yet. Just to see if he starts moving off.
Okay. He doesn't move off, but what he does do is turns towards one of the lanterns, opens it up.
Nope. Okay. Instantly gonna just kick his hand away.
He turns towards the lantern that's on the other side.
That's not lit though. That one's not lit.
Yep. And starts opening it.
Oh god. Okay.
It's not lit.
No.
Are you stopping?
I'm tempted to take the lanterns and just take them up to where I am.
It's up to you. Are you going to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as you start lifting, he is reaching for something now that he's opened it until the lantern goes up, and then he kind of looks up towards you and goes,
I'm going to pull them back so they're not visible.
"Hi, Gwen," and then goes back into the wagon.
Are you okay, Philip? A little bit afraid of the dark?
No sound.
Okay, why don't you just pop back in there and maybe we can talk about this in the morning?
No response.
Okay, I'm just going to assume that you're fine.
What are you doing with the lanterns? Keeping them with you?
They're going to stay next to me.
Okay. Right. Aside from the distraction that is Philip, which is probably the best way to kind of summarize Philip.
Classic.
The passage of the 2 hours does go largely unimpeded. The fact that you can hear the chatter from Draenog and the horses start to dim and ebb down as he starts getting comfortable and getting himself set up. Wildlife is still receded off into the distance. There's a little bit telltale noise as it slowly started creeping back at the more curious animals are drawn to the firelight. There's nothing that draws your attention as potentially risky or dangerous. And there's no movement from the opposite side of the road where you notice this chalk. And before long, you notice that there is a stirring below you, which is largely from the fact that Degala is starting to emerge from the trance-like state that he was in, signifying that your rest is coming.
Oh, right. Gwyn, I was kind of vaguely aware of what was going on. Did Philip pop out at some moment?
Is he not down there anymore?
Well, I'm on the ground, assuming he went back into the wagon.
I tried to not look at him anymore after he did some... Well, he tried to grab I assume the candles, or tried to put his candle in there and light it, which... We're in the darkness already, so that's not going to be a great thing for everybody.
No, you're right. If we end up using a weird magic candle and causing weird magic shit, I don't think this is the time necessarily. Maybe during daytime. If this candle's a problem, we can tackle it in the day.
I think maybe just somehow getting that candle from him and melting it somewhere. Or maybe throwing it in a river so we can never find it again.
Maybe if there's a white chalk monster about to attack us, we can give it the candle and he might leave us alone.
I think that's causing too many problems. Well, possibly. We don't know, obviously, but
Yeah.
it doesn't sound like it's going to be healthy for anybody.
No, yeah, you all seem pretty scared of this candle, to be fair. Like, did something happen with it before?
Almost happened, and there was scary writing on a wall. I remember vaguely what we had to do. Something about raising the torch, and then something else. I've written it down somewhere, but let's just not do that. If you see Philip,
Yes.
and he has a black candle,
Yes.
I would say try and take it off him, but he's very well. You're stronger than him now, I guess.
Is he? I can't remember what Philip's strength is.
Phillips is 18.
Oh,
Yeah, both me and Philip have the same strength.
Is Philip's not 19?
Oh, it's Philip 19 and
yeah, I
Gwyn's
think
18.
Gwen's 18.
Oh, I thought we were both 18.
I mean, it's the same modifier either way, so
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I think perhaps it's best just to let him wander around. Don't let him get too close to the fire in case somehow he does something with that. I don't know.
That's fine. I will make sure he doesn't move.
The
I
lantern,
feel like you need a child harness for Philip.
I think we need that when Philip's here as well. And Pontus.
That's
Okay.
fine. I'll keep an eye out for Philip, I promise. I'll make sure he doesn't light a black candle.
No, this is serious. It seems like you're taking it as a joke.
No, I'm being deadly serious. I will punch him in his face or snap the candle into whatever is required of the situation.
Melting the candle. That is what is required.
Melting the candle. So if he brings out the candle, I take it off him and I throw it in fire so it melts.
I feel like that's adding more fire to the fire that it needs to light, so maybe not.
I'll hide it somewhere. It's fine. Did he have his eyes closed?
No, well, I wasn't looking at... No, his eyes weren't closed.
Okay. I could just run away with it.
Eat it.
Eat it.
Eat it. Yeah, that's the best. It doesn't seem like any options we have Philip would be able to get it in any option that we give him. So eating it is the logical one for me.
Okay.
Logical being a very strange word to use in that sentence.
Hang on. We've got horses. I heard in my periphery Draenog making weird noises with them. What if we convince the horses to eat the candle?
I think that's goats you're thinking of. Goats eat
right.
anything.
Yeah, I'm not an expert with wildlife.
Goats and pigs. If we find pigs...
I will keep an ear out for a wild boar. If I hear a wild boar, I'll go below, nick it, throw it, and hope he doesn't chase after it.
Okay, just keep an eye on him.
I will, yes.
I'm surprised Cass did nothing. No, actually, no, I'm not surprised Cass did nothing. That's exactly what Cass would do.
Exactly.
So...
Meanwhile, Cassian, this bench is oddly comfortable. It's not the best of scenarios, but you've probably picked the plushest bench that's in there for you to sleep in, with your silk pajamas, having a nice, calm night. I will get back to you in a second, Cassian. Meanwhile, Degala, can I get a roll from you, please?
Of course you can. Yes. Perception?
I will say...
Mm-hmm.
I need 2 rolls from you because you're effectively taking 2 watches.
That's fine. Yeah, so the first one is a... Ooh, that's a 4. So 10 for the first one. And for the second one, that's a 16. So a 10 and a 22.
Can I give him the help action somehow on the first one? Because I was going to mention the chalk line as well. So just to keep an eye on.
That's what he's keeping an eye on, but the only way you could really help him for the duration of the 2 hours is to sit with him for the 2 hours.
I can sleep up there with him.
Yeah, but then you're sleeping, you're not helping. So there are things that you can pay attention to, and it'll obviously the fact that you're looking in particular areas, I'll take that into account for the difficulty. So with that in mind, with the things he's highlighted, what are you focusing on?
I think for the first part, he'll actually most of his attention will be focused kind of below, listening out into the wagon, sort of keeping an eye on the horizon, but listening into the wagon to make sure he doesn't hear Philip stirring or anything like that, because of the warning from Gwyn. But if nothing happens for the first couple of hours, then for the last couple of hours, he'll probably be keeping more of a focus on the road and probably whereabouts Gwyn felt like he saw that chalk as well. I think there'll be an element of concern there. So that's probably where he'll split his 2 watches in particular.
Okay, so when you said 4,
rolled a 4 for 6. No, rolled a 4 for 10. Sorry, yeah.
For 10, right? Okay, yeah. Just give me the totals, not the.
Sure thing. So the first one was 10. The second one was 22.
22. Okay. Okay. So, your focus is largely down below. The only kind of stirring movement that you hear is on the side where you know that the bunks are. So you can't really tell whether or not that's Philip moving around or whether or not that is Cassian moving in his bed.
Falling off of his bunk because of his dog pajamas.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard for you to tell, but your focus is very much on the camp itself and not outwards towards the chalk or towards the woods or similar. So I'll keep that in mind for the 2 hours. So I'm going to go between 3 people quickly.
Okay.
Just for my own thing, have we lost Gwen?
Harry's just popped to the loo very quickly.
Okay. Just make sure it's not a thing on my side. So first of all, Drainog. It took a moment, it took a while, but where you are asleep, you kind of stir very briefly in a kind of half daze to find that the horses have kind of rested up on either side of you. How long does that communication last? Can you understand animals anyway?
No, speak of animals is 10 minutes.
Okay. Then you wouldn't necessarily... Just do an animal handling check for me very quickly.
Yeah. With gnomes in the 2014 edition, they could speak with small creatures, but this one, they just get the ability to cast speak with animals.
That's fine. I mean, it would have worn off, but this is more just a...
Yep, I get a +6 for that. That's a 16 + 6, so a 22.
Okay. Groggy though you are, with the horses coming in, just to kind of build on the fact that you started to build a rapport with them, they are kind of nestled on either side of you, and the impression you get is less vibrant and clear as it was when you did the communication with them earlier, but the semblance you get is they're very much nestled up close to you as though you are a calf between them. And even the one that was more skittish, the older horse, not the brown, but the grey, is close. The brown is still closer, but it's close enough where that it's kind of clear that it's almost like a protective circle between you. To anyone that's larger than you, this would probably be a little bit suffocating, but for someone your size, it's a little bit more comforting than just having your sides or your flank or your head or your feet exposed to the woods. As acclimatized as you are to the woods, there's still a barrier of horse flesh between you and those places, and it's clear that the kind of approach that you had earlier is kind of taken a positive toll, and they're a bit more clustered with you. Cassian,
Hello.
the whimpering noise that, or the kind of stirring noise that Digala could hear earlier, was in fact coming from you, as opposed to Philip. And while you are asleep, you're still very much aware of your surroundings, because although you have jolted from your sleep, or you can't tell whether or not it's a dream or whether or not you have jolted awake, but there is a strange paralysis over yourself again as you find yourself unable to move. And you rock your eyes down instinctively towards the end of your body, expecting to feel that same pressure as something crawls up your body again. You almost anticipate it. And the fact that there is now heaps of fabric between you and then, there's almost a part of you that expects it to almost emerge out from beneath those blankets and just be face to face with you. And you can't move your body to check or to pull away or to shift. And then eventually you kind of strain your eyes as much as you can to look down and see beyond what your head being face forwards can actually see. And eventually you let your eyes ping back upwards to rest them, to realize that that faceless figure is there, but instead it stood directly ahead of where your head rests and is leaning over you. And now that you're looking forwards, you find that you can't roll your eyes anymore, as it starts moving closer and closer and closer until your nose, if it had a nose, would touch the end of yours. And for the rest of your rest, it stays there.
Ah, lovely.
Oh, God.
Val,
Yes.
you can hear movement in your tent.
Would you like a whisper here, Titus?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Oh,
Give me 2 seconds. Right.
hey.
Deafen. Have fun.
Deafened? You still hear me, Cal?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so you hear movement at the base of your tent, this one-person tent. Where you are currently led, you can't see it. You hear movement.
I'll sit up and have a look down,
Okay,
expecting it maybe to be Aelia or somebody.
As you sit up, your head brushes with the top of your tent. At the end of your tent, where the flap is to leave, there is the end of your travel cloak that is draped up and over a small-sized figure.
Uh-huh.
You cannot see the figure, but it is over the top and draped over it. And it is just sat there, occupying the space at the end of your tent. And although you can't see a face, you get the distinct feeling from the way that the hair stands up on the back of your neck that it is angled towards you.
Aelia, if this is you and this is some sort of trick, now might not be the best time.
Who's Aelia?
Do I recognize the voice?
No, but you get a creeping feeling up your arm, as though you should.
And who is this?
There's power in a name.
Yeah. Yes, there is. Aelia is a friend of mine. Who are you?
Little Aelia. She was due to meet you.
What did you do to her?
I've not done nothing. I like to know things. Would you tell me where you're going, please?
Why?
I very much would like to know.
You tell me what you've done with Alia, and I might tell you.
How about a favor for a favor?
I'm not in the business of doing favors.
It's such a simple one.
Simple or not, I've been caught by this before. I don't know who you are or what you want, but I don't think you should be here.
I go where I please. And if you know not who I am, nor what I do, then a word of advice. Perhaps kindness is a simpler way to speak to people. Let's not race hackles. I am here, be it only as a messenger.
A messenger for whom?
The fabric shifts forward very slightly. Why have you not followed her instructions? Would you like me to recant them for you to make it easier?
Is this to allude to the writings on the wall that we saw previously? Yes.
Maybe. I'll recant them for you if you wish. Then
No,
you can.
I remember them quite clearly.
Would you like to sing them with me?
No,
Would you mind if I sang them?
I would very much.
Well, that's okay. You'll hear them one day, Valkyria. And we'll sing them together in chorus. Maybe the whole family will sing them in chorus. And as that word elongates, the fabric pops. Is everyone off of deafen? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone should be able to hear now.
Cool.
That
Came
look,
back into a very big sigh.
That looks horrifying. Just the smiles were awful.
Thanks. That was me just saying, Callum, you're doing so well. I really enjoy this game. And
Just having a good time.
that was actually me going, so Cal, how does Val feel? What does he think of his friends? Okay, so are you doing anything on the tail end of that, Val? Are you going back to sleep?
I will quickly check the cloak on the floor, just to see if there's any markings, residuals, anything at all.
On the inside, there is.
Oh, fuck it up. And what would that be?
Okay. It says, fear the shadows, fear the lakes.
Fear the shadows, fear the lakes, yeah.
And that is in a very similar, I mean, in so close as you can have a font in this sense, a stitching in the inside of the fabric in the same style as the crisscrosses that had been etched into the wall.
Drop my book. I got so scared I dropped my book.
Okay. Okay, so now that is the people I needed to bounce between. Gwyn, you're actually having a very nice, pleasant rest for the start of it. It almost worryingly uneventful for you in the sense that with everything going on, especially with actually, where have you gone to sleep?
I stayed on the roof. Yeah, I stayed on the roof.
Weirdly uneventful. You kind of anticipate as you start to feel your eyes get a bit heavy. You almost expect to hear noise come from the direction of where the chalk was. You definitely expect to hear noise coming from the front of the flap. It's almost like you're counting down a timer in your head for when Philip's going to try again. But you don't hear noise. Apart from a very slight shuffling from inside, but that could easily be Cassian. And before long, the absence of noise is what lulls you to sleep, aside from the crackling of the fire as it starts to burn itself low now that it's been a good 4-5 hours after it's been lit. With that, lighting is starting to get dimmer. The fire is about to burn itself out unless it gets tended to, unless there is another light source. So before we get to your second 2-hour slot together, are you replenishing light sources?
I'll probably top up the fire. Yeah, I imagine the main campfire. We've got some kindling and things. I think we ordered some.
Yeah, you'll have things.
Yeah, I will just.
as well.
I'll just add a little bit, so it's not burning like an inferno. But you know, it's enough to kick up just enough light for whoever comes next.
Okay. Okay, so that it's warming and it is heartening and it gives you that kind of visibility, which is what you needed. Being off of the high point is kind of, you're very eager to get back up on there, because now that you're back down here and you're kind of glancing around, you're aware how much more visibility you had up there. From here, you cannot see where the chalk outlines were, and that in itself is quite jarring. So you go through, lighting the fire as quickly as you can and return to your perch. Yeah. No disturbance there, or if anything did move there, it's something that you didn't see. This is all to encompass the fact that you got your 10 on the original perception.
Yeah, fair enough.
With the light lit and now a healthy kind of glow, you are a much more attentive watcher for the next 2 hours. You can hear and see different animals moving on the opposite side of the woods, away from the close proximity of the fire, kind of looking out and seeing. There is one particular doe, which is the head kind of nestling out, and not too far away from that is it's not quite what you'd expect a red panda to be, but it is close enough proximity that as it kind of comes out, it stops, stares at you accusingly, and then turns, still staring at you, and then goes back into the forest as though you've just disturbed it on its midnight walk, and it's quite offensive. It's been stared at. But beyond these kind of brief moments of wildlife movement and the odd stirring of your companions in sleep or in slumber, there's not a lot that draws your focus. And before too long, the end of your 2 hours is coming up, and you know that you'll need to go and wake Val for the final leg.
All right. Do Val's feet stick out of his?
No. It's a one-person tent, so it'd fully cover him.
Okay,
that'd be so weird if it did.
I had the impression of like one of those little, like the little ones where it just goes up to you, a bit like Kronk in New Groove. That's
how I fit in tents. That's genuinely me as Harry, but I just fit in tents like that. Any tent.
How is it in terms of comfort?
I'm so cold. It's just that I'm 6'8", so beds don't fit me.
Oh my god, Jesus! How do you rest?
Just curl up into a ball.
Is that why you've got Sfeel with you to remind you to curl?
Yeah, exactly. Anything spherical, I will just like envelop to emulate the shape as much as possible.
Nice.
Okay.
In that case, I will move towards the one-man tent, and I assume there's like an opening there, like a flap. I'll just sort of gently push the flap, just be like, Val.
Yeah. I'm up.
You're up. Okay. It is your turn for the watch. I've put a little bit more on the fire. Philip was being weird earlier, I believe. You know, he was
standard.
Yeah, he was trying to light a candle with Gwyn earlier, but he's been fast asleep for the last, 4 hours at the very least. So
I will clarify, just in case Ryan is watching this or Ryan does watch it back, I did roll for this, Ryan. I'm not just being a dick and making your character do things while you're not here. I did roll for all of this. Anyway, yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, also, Bonnie, I don't blame you for curling up. I do it at 5'11". So yeah, apart from that, there's a bit of chalk on the road, but I've not seen it change or, flicker at all. There's a bit of wildlife around. It's pretty chilled at the moment. I'll be in front of the fire. I'll still be aware of what's going on, so if anything happens, I'll be right there for you, okay?
Alright, thank you.
Right then, and I'll literally just plonk myself onto my ass in front of the fire, and just my eyes glaze over, hands in the grass, just...
So you'll go back onto the rest of your sleep. Val, what are you doing for your sleep? Well, not your sleep, but your guard. Where are you going to have it, and what are you currently doing? Awake and out of your tent.
Val will take it by the fire. Still, just kind of sort of sit there opposite sort of Dagala, just where he can kind of keep his head on a bit of a swivel and keep an eye on everything. Obviously now being a little bit on edge after what had just happened. He's also going to root into his bag, his pouch, and pull out his old wedding band. It's not like a ring or anything. It's just like a traditional sort of brand, like a bracelet sort of thing, which he just keeps on his person. He's just going to kind of hold that and kind of play with it a little bit, and he'll sort of just whisper to himself as well and just be like, "What have you sent after me?" And just kind of keep an eye out on other things, and then he's just going to kind of hold that and just.
Perception check, please, Val.
That is a 13.
You can't see from here the place where this chalk outline was. Dagala's mentioned that there was one on the road, but as far as I'm aware, he hasn't shown you. But your attention is largely, understandably, elsewhere. So the focus there isn't really on the chalk. You do see Dagala in his trance-like state, and it's an interesting thing to watch because he appears very much tranquil and yet still very much awake. It's almost like the kind of tranquility that you would expect from somebody that is in a deep sleep, but upon someone that is awake. It's almost like a lot of kind of concerns, thoughts, and the rest of it is just diluted to the point where he is in a state of rest, and it's oddly reassuring to see. But also it's hard to focus on. You can hear a low kind of noise from within the wagon, and while your attention does go there, there's no telltale shift of the actual wagon to suggest that the quite hardy and muscular and armored dwarf is kind of shifting around within. So potentially the noises are coming from Cassian. There is a low... The noise that he's making suggests that he is having quite a hectic or alarming dream, and now that you think about it, is a very similar noise to what he was making the last time you were in a room with him and he fell asleep.
Poor kid. At least Philip's in there with him, I guess. Couldn't wake him up last time, so not even gonna try.
Okay. Are you doing anything else?
No, I think just keeping a bit of a watch, letting his mind wander occasionally while still holding this band basically the whole time.
Okay.
For comfort.
Reassuringly or not, the 2 hours do progress without any noticeable interruptions. Given what whether or not it played in your mind, or whether or not it was a dream, or whether or not it was actually something you witnessed, it's Still something that plays on your mind even as the light starts to rise off into the east. Not obstructed now that there's no kind of immediate kind of mountain ranges close to you that would obstruct the passage of the sun. There are mountains off towards the east, not nearly quite so many as off towards the west. So you can kind of see more of the sun as it starts to rise, and that ambient light starts to both warm and illuminate the area, which is in itself reassuring. It's almost like you've kind of reached a point where you can start to release the breath that you've subconsciously been holding throughout this 2-hour period of being very much on your own, or what it felt like you were on your own. And you can start to hear people start to stir around you. The light starts to glow more. The temperature is still warm. It was pleasant throughout the night, especially this close to the fire. The fire itself is starting to die down again, having had things thrown upon it by Degala. It's still going by the time people wake up, but it's been burning down. And people start to stir and wake, and you get towards the end of the rest. So everyone will now have the benefit of long rest, which means doing your rolls. Make sure you... Yeah, so... get your spell slots and stuff back. Yeah. Remember, roll your current hit dice, add your constitution modifier to each one to recover that amount of health before you add hit dice. D8. Where's my D8? Does anyone need me to walk through that process with them again?
I was
back to max.
Back to max.
Do you want me to, Harry?
Oh no, I'm fully healthy.
Yeah, cool.
I am back to max now, thank God.
Right. Yep. So remember, then you get half your maximum hit dice, rounded down, but minimum of 1 back, on top of what you already had. Make sure you're marking off rations and water.
Yeah, just about to say.
Without them, you start to accumulate dehydration and malnutrition, which you don't want.
It's half. Is it half a ration per day, right? Or is it?
No,
it
ration per day.
Okay.
Full ration per day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Obviously, you would be eating and stuff throughout the day, little and often. But in order to make bookkeeping infinitely easier for myself, we're only really tracking a daily progress from long rest. Otherwise, it's just too much for me to balance on top of everything else. So when you have your long rest, you can still get a long rest. If you don't do it, you just start accumulating malnutrition and dehydration, and that starts giving you exhaustion levels that you cannot shift until you start getting through that stuff. Did anyone sleep in armor, by the way? I will start asking that before you start taking a long rest. I forgot this time.
No.
I know for a fact Cassian didn't. Unless his silk pajamas happen to be his most armored clothing.
Oh yeah, they're like plate.
AC 23.
Yeah.
Mithril pajamas.
It's not because they're armored, it's because they're too nice for people to hit.
Yeah, exactly. Don't want to get a mark on them.
Inspired to have an extra AC when you're wearing them.
I don't think Gwyn's actually ever put his new armor on, so...
Have you not?
Well, long rest is time for everyone to do all this stuff. Everyone starts waking and rousing. The horses start to stir. Immediately start checking on Drainog. It's clear whatever kind of established connection or conversation he had has obviously taken root, especially in young horses. Very much clustered around him. Drainog, from your impression, you did get the idea that, or rather you did get the impression, just to give a bit more information, the Maple Grey is a mare, and the Chestnut Brown, the one that took to you a bit more, is a stallion.
Okay.
I obviously, for any kind of long-term companions, whether animal or not, I do have my own kind of loyalty value for people and things. I am tracking them.
I'm amazed they lasted the night.
Yeah, it's not just
only the first night.
Yeah,
True.
I mean, to be honest, with the warm weather and the lighting and stuff like that, and I mean, just because you come across something that looks like, I mean, the D&D mindset is you come across wagons on their own, you're going to get attacked. Remember, timelines are happening on their own. Those wagons could have been attacked a while back.
The Dragonfly could be in the bottom of the river right now.
Yeah.
Oh, don't say that.
That's his head.
So everyone starts to stir, everyone starts to wake. Cassian, You do still get the benefits of your long rest,
Thank God.
but at some point before dawn,
Mm.
that face which had lingered unmoving over yours started to recede backwards out of the periphery of your vision.
Hmm.
And although it is now no longer seen, you can feel it almost as though it's lingering at the corner of this wagon. And somehow that's worse because you know it's there. You can feel it staring at you, but you can't see it. And then
That's
suddenly,
absolutely messed up.
as the dawn comes on and you suddenly move, you turn and you look in that corner. There is nothing there. But that feeling of being watched persists.
Oh, lovely.
Otherwise, everyone's free to do what they want to round this off before we come to a close. I'm assuming that people are just going to start getting together and start continuing the next leg of the journey for the next day towards Beldron.
I am checking around Dagger Drawn to see if anything is there.
Okay.
People will see me just coming out in my silk pajamas, frantically looking.
Okay. So as you step out in your silk pajamas with which dagger?
Just a standard dagger.
Okay. Step out with your dagger. You have a look around. There's no one lingering around apart from your companions, which are slowly moving about, and I'd assume going through the morning rituals of busying themselves. Sound up above, which immediately draws your eye, and you can kind of see the mane of hair that belongs to Gwyn kind of come in briefly into view as he starts getting up and moving around. And the ambient glow of the fire. You can hear the horses shift, but you cannot otherwise see anyone around.
Did anyone see it? Anyone? Faceless thing is back again. No?
Nothing that's been seen out here. Sorry, Cass.
No, I'm afraid not.
It was
Yeah.
over my face for hours. Stood over me.
Is this the same thing that happened when we were in the tavern before?
Yeah. Yes.
I didn't see anything, sorry.
No, I was outside all
Philip, you
night.
were in there with me.
Or I didn't see anything, Cass. I was focused on dwarven things.
Yeah, sounds about right. Except, Philip, what about that time when you came out of the carriage? Did you not see anything hanging over him at that point?
Oh, that wasn't me.
What?
Wasn't me.
When you say it wasn't you, where were you?
I was asleep.
But you don't sleep.
On this occasion, I did.
Okay, so who was that then?
Must have been another dwarf.
But it was you, though.
Could have just looked like me. Must have been the beard.
Philip, can
Humans
I have
always confuses.
Philip, can I have that candle, please?
What candle?
You know the candle.
Oh! He reaches in and grabs a candle and gives it to you.
No, the specific candle that you know I'm talking about.
Oh no, I lost it.
Okay, so if I check your bags...
You ain't checking my bags.
No, I've already done it once and you didn't notice, so...
I think Gwen's got a death wish.
Philip, we're going to continue this conversation later, when you're a little bit more...
Myself.
Yeah. And I'm going to get my armor on now. Could you help me?
Yes,
Thank you.
but I'm not happy about it.
Absolutely fine. You don't need to be.
Okay, so everyone starts getting ready. Everyone starts moving on. Any conversations that you're going to have, we will hold there and return to it next time.
Fantastic.
One day down, another day until you get to Beldron. I was watching timelines in your planned exit from the city of things that I knew were going on in the vicinity. Yeah.
So one day closer to level 5, right?
One day closer to level 5, sure.
Good.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the fact that your initial level ups have been quite quick, level 5 takes you into like the next tier. So that's where when you start approaching new tiers is when we start slowing down. So going into level 5 from level 4 will take a little bit longer on a milestone progression than it would normally, and same with like going into level 11 onto the next tier, and same as going to level 17 onto the final tier. It takes longer. You have to achieve a bit more in terms of that and the story. Plus, level 5 is the big shift of power. Not only that, but you also get bastions in accordance with the rules. So I need to figure out how the hell to implement that, but we'll work around that and do that. So no, one more day towards level up, but you're not going up for a level up for a while.
Our bastion's just going to be a fucking drug den in the Druid Woods or some shit.
Amazing. That's perfect.
Remember, I
We'll
did
never leave.
And for the rest of the story, your group's just there, drugged out on mushrooms.
Yeah.
Very easy roleplay sessions.
remember, I did have a house in the woods.
We can
You
like merge Gwyn's house and Draenog's circle into like this perfect drug den and sort of build an empire from there. That'd be perfect.
I see nothing wrong.
Okay, so we will say it's around 6 o'clock this time to wake up to bring everything into a line, because obviously we would have assumed you started your next sleep around the time where things started getting dark. So bringing it back to 6 o'clock makes things a bit more manageable timeline-wise. So that's why we'll be picking up from next time. Any other bits and pieces you want to do, obviously make what notes you need to. Conversations with Philip can resume when he is here. Yes, we will pick up from there. So thank you very much, everybody, for those that managed to join us. Again, Discord, if you want to give that link again for us, please, Dean.
Yeah, so you can find us on Discord, and that's perils.uk, and that'll redirect you straight to the Discord channel.
Although obviously we are around, you can message us on there. Obviously with the shift and stuff, we are not as active as we normally are. That would obviously pick up as things start to stabilize more. But even on the occasions, you can always just at us. Me and Dean tend to be on there quite frequently, especially now while we're trying to coordinate some other stuff. So even if you're trying to direct a question for someone and they haven't got a reply, we can easily just throw things at them until they do.
And they do.
So it's a great way to communicate with us, and obviously as we get more settled and overcome this, we'll be more active on there. So please feel free to join us there. One last plug from Callum, if you can.
Rogues Retreat, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, roguesretreat.co.uk, and use the code PERILS to check out for additional 10%.
Yeah, we know that people don't like advertising and things like that, but we are doing things ourselves. So if you do want some dice, just use them for us, because
They're real good dice as well. Very
they're really nice dice.
They are
And-
very nice.
Oh, it's not going to focus, but still, it's got a nice ring in it.
That's my one at the moment.
Yeah.
A nice red one.
So yeah, and as always, like, share and subscribe if you do like what we're doing. It doesn't seem like much, but it really does help us. As well as that, Wednesday is going to be the release of this episode, and is the release of every episode after we do it. And Friday is when we'll get the lore video, so stay tuned for that. Otherwise, we will see everybody next Thursday. Any questions or anything, chuck it in Discord, and we'll get back to you. So thank you very much for joining us, guys.
We
and
will
we'll see you
be
next time.
raiding out to Schnips. So thank you
Schnips.
very much, everybody.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day, guys.
Take it easy, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.